Circle. Mhm. Taking so much space. What should we watch? it's it's actually okay. Why is it always showing divorce thumbs all the time? We're gonna change that later. It's always randomly choosing the worst moment to be chosen. Yes. What is that thing? What did you not? Prophecy would say Babylon, the USA. Evangelical earthquake. Oh yeah, by the way, this was is actually so deep. Starter. Sure.
Ao sol.
It's actually original Portuguese. It's also dubbed in English. It's made by AI, but so good.
Today, you will learn the story of a man chosen by God. A man who walked in righteousness, faithful to the word and commandments of the Most High. His name is Hosea, a prophet who not only spoke, but lived what God felt. This man received a calling that defied logic, culture, and the heart sabbath. God commanded him to marry a prostitute. It was not a punishment, it was a prophetic mission. Through his marriage, heaven would cry out to earth about love, pain, and fidelity. This is not just a story of betrayal and forgiveness. It is a reflection of the divine covenant, where even infidelity finds redemption. The desert wind stretched over Samaria like an ancient lament, carrying the echo of names that once bowed to the Lord. Now, whispered to the metal images that gleamed in the sun, the people erected altars, celebrated feasts, sang hymns of victory, but their eyes no longer turned to the eternal rock. It was a worship service full of sound and empty of meaning, like someone dancing on an abyss. The presence of God, which had previously descended like fire, now seemed to recede, as if the heavens were tired of repeating 1,000 ignored calls. And in the heavy silence of this abandonment, the Lord's heart bled in a silence as deep as the silence, like an ancient lament of the divine covenant, where
What? No, it's yeah, it was broken. Deixa eu falar. Um, Shutterboard, timers. Hello. I'm just going to show. Maybe I'll show right now. There's just context through.
Through his marriage, heaven would cry out to earth about love, pain, and fidelity. This is not just a story of betrayal and forgiveness. It is a reflection of the divine covenant, where even infidelity finds redemption. The desert wind stretched over Samaria like an ancient lament, carrying the echo of names that once bowed to the Lord. Now, whispered to the metal images that gleamed in the sun, the people erected altars, celebrated feasts, sang hymns of victory, but their eyes no longer turned to the eternal rock. It was a worship service full of sound and empty of meaning, like someone dancing on an abyss.
What the fuck is that in the middle? It's literally a person looking like a statue of a zombie or something. Is it even truly 4K? It's not looking very good yet. It is. It's just a quality. Yeah.
The presence of God, which had previously descended like fire, now seemed to recede, as if the heavens were tired of repeating 1,000 ignored calls. And in the heavy silence of this abandonment, the Lord's heart bled in a silence as deep as the rainless desert. Why had Israel, in its pride, exchanged the rock for shade and life for the ephemeral? It was a time of redemption. But before that, it was a time to reveal what the heart of a people had become. God did not seek an orator to raise crowds, nor a man of polished words me. The Most
Is it
High
that
called
bad?
someone
Was
who
probably
could feel
not
the
as
weight of the pain he felt. Someone
That one is
who would
who
carry
was it?
in his body the mirror
In
of Israel's
this time
soul.
specific.
Hosea was not a prince, nor a famous priest. He was a man with a firm gaze, earth beneath his feet, and an obedience that did not yet know its own end. The Lord spoke with a voice that pierces the silence of the mornings, direct and poignant.
Go. Take for yourself a wife of prostitution and have children of prostitution, for the land has committed great prostitution by forsaking the Lord.
Those words fell upon him like a stone into a deep well with no easy way out. It was not a poetic metaphor, nor an allegorical challenge. It was a living command that would wound his heart and mold it for what lay ahead. Hosea heard that voice as one hears distant thunder before the storm. There was no gentle invitation, no comforting illumination. There came a demand that shatters plans and rewrites destiny. The prophet, however, did not hesitate. He knew that when God...
It's weird that we always say about all this. I mean, it's about like idolatry of the entire. Always put a lot of horrible things, but I think it wasn't looking that horrible in specific times, specific moments. Probably not. It's probably just like nowadays. It was looking like something good and normal. It looks like, oh, everyone is dancing, then drinking wine all the time, and then just laughing, and then I mean, actually, maybe because where would they work? That's literally the nation. Yeah, yeah. They have nowhere else to go. That's literally the place that they live and they work in that place. It's literally one nation. Yeah, maybe actually, because everyone becomes alike with Shiota, and they have nothing else to do. So you had to pay tributes and since it was a nation, but it was probably not like all this. Because yeah, everyone followed the same religion, so yeah, it was probably actually that bad, yeah. Actually,
God speaks like this. One does not argue, one walks. And so he walked, crossing dusty streets and curious glances until he found what God had pointed out day. Among corridors of houses and shadows that stretched into the twilight, there she was, Gomer, daughter of Devlin, beautiful under the harsh sunlight, but with eyes that held stories no one told aloud. No one. She was power without redemption, desire without rest, and her body bore the marks of a life marked by exchanges. Men looked at her with covetous eyes, but
she
none
really looked
touched
that
the suffering
pretty.
soul. Gomer learned to
In
sell
times like
herself,
this,
not to surrender, because no one asked her real name. When Osea approached, he came not with luxury or speeches, but with a tranquil presence that pierced defenses. He spoke simply.
The Lord commanded me to love you, to make you my
wait,
wife,
wait, that's might not be a good video. Let's watch it anyways.
and the mother of my children.
I don't
She looked at him as
remember
one looks at a
everything about
broken
the story
mirror.
anyways. I
She
know the story,
recognized
but
parts of herself,
I
but
don't
no.
remember if it is saying on the Bible that he literally came to her and said this. I don't remember this. I don't think it's written on the Bible, but okay, let's just keep watching.
Promise of healing. The city whispered. The street corners recorded his every step toward what the world despised. And when he took her as his wife,
I
it
don't
was not
think any of
as
this
an
is
arrogant
written.
possessor, but as a servant, with a predetermined destiny. There was no wedding feast, no songs of joy. The union was silence and
It's an
murmur,
interesting video,
as
let's
if
watch
heaven
it.
were present, but the earth had not yet seen. The neighbors watched from afar, some with scorn, others with confusion. No one understood the meaning God was writing there. Hosea didn't argue. He was a man who had learned to obey before understanding. And that
There is
house
nothing
would
saying that
become
she
a
was
living
pretty,
altar
by
of
the
a
way. She was just
prophetic
a
word.
huge prostitute.
Gomer
She was
walked cautiously
literally
through the
giving the
room
body
like
to every
someone
single man
entering
everywhere.
unknown territory and fearing.
If you see a woman like this nowadays that exists hygiene, you see how bad they look. Imagine during these days that hygiene was not a thing that existed as well as nowadays. Imagine that. There is nothing saying that she was a very pretty woman. I don't think so. But he still accepted to do so to marry her. Or did he marry her before she becomes a prostitute? I don't know. I don't remember the story. I don't remember everything. But I think he actually did marry her when she was a prostitute, yeah. To represent the Israel.
What they would find. She was there, but her heart still wandered the paths she had known before. Hosea didn't know if she loved him, but he knew that God had called him to love. And the love of heaven doesn't depend on human reciprocity. The days that followed were heavy, as if each morning knew the weight of the previous night. Hosea would get the food, place it on the table, and wait, not for an answer, but for an encounter.
Yeah.
Gomer sat.
He was, yeah, it's probably not written in the Bible, but it's unquestionable true. Because the men were the one feeding the woman and giving her a life. So imagine that she was actually the worst prostitute or something. Not the worst, I don't know. She was just a prostitute that everyone knew, or a famous prostitute. And then not only that, but he was actually loving her and also taking care of her while she was betraying him with everyone. And she was coming back over and over again, and he feeding her and taking care of her. It was a representation of God and the and Israel. Israel is the prostitute. God was Oseas. It was literally the very same representation, showing to the country or something. I don't know. Imagine that story when I saw this video was like, it actually impressed me. Yeah, I actually like the story is more impressive than it looks actually because it
In silence,
shows
her
a
eyes,
lot.
avoiding the direct light of his gaze as if the truth were an uncomfortable
Cannot
glare.
even understand
He
everything
prayed
he's
softly,
saying.
not with rehearsed words, but with murmurs, of someone who knows that heaven speaks more in silence than in clamor. And those moments became battlegrounds not between husband and wife, but between prophecy and disbelief. Viara demis. Because God's heart was there, even when the human heart hid itself. And no one in the city saw that each of his gestures was like a seed sown in barren ground. Time passed, and Gomer's womb began to round out, announcing life sprouting where many expected only desert. Hosea looked at that growth with a mixture of fear and hope. Oh, that's to hope. But before he could touch the child's face, the voice of the Lord resounded
I can
again
imagine
within
this
him.
pain of being
This is your
betrayed so
son,
much.
and you will call him Yisro.
It made me think
The
about
name
it.
fell like a sentence. It meant place of blood, valley, of shedding, a symbol of judgment coming upon the house of Israel. The prophet held the newborn as one holds simultaneous destiner's flesh and prophecy. And the city would hear later, each time the name was called, a reminder that the time for planting had passed and the harvest was Bordeaux's approaching. Every time Hosea called the boy from the streets, the name reverberated like a warning. Jezreel, as if to say that the soul of a nation is wounded and needs urgent restoration needs. Gomer watched her son sleep and felt something stir within her like a seed that had not yet sprouted. Hosea did not teach the boy with simple words, but with his own presence, as if to say, that love and judgment walk together when God
For
speaks.
decades, by the way,
The
being
people
betrayed.
whispered behind doors,
Everyone
not knowing if it was
making
madness
sex
or
with her.
a sign. Some mocked, others looked away because the truth is always uncomfortable when exposed before one's eyes without preparation. But the prophet remained firm
These guys
because
are
the weight
so
of the
annoying.
mission was greater than any human murmur. Hosea's house was no longer a refuge, but the setting for a silent wait. Gomer walked between the rooms as if searching for something she would never find there. Her eyes no longer rested on the prophet but were lost on the horizon of the streets. Hosea, even without words, perceived it. Her heart no longer dwelt in that home. Mornings began with silence, and nights ended with absence. Suddenly, amidst the emptiness, came the second pregnancy. This time, there were no songs or celebrations. The belly grew, but so did the distance. Gomer seemed indifferent, as if that child had no root of love, but only a
I think it
consequence
was
of
for
her
decades,
escapes.
yeah.
When the
Showing
child
like
was born,
God's
the Lord
patience as
spoke
well.
before any
It was
emotion
an
could be felt.
incredible
This is your daughter, and you shall call her Lama.
The
representation
sentence fell like a stone on Hosea's chest. Lama,
of God's
without compassion,
pain It's
A
so
name that sealed
interesting
the absence of mercy not only
because we can
on that
understand
house,
how
but on
that
an entire
is
nation that
for
rejected the love of its God.
someone so different as
Hosea
God.
loved his daughter, even without
It's
understanding
like being
God's ways.
betrayed. It's the
He held
same
her in his
pain
arms, but
apparently.
could not prevent her name from echoing like a
And that
verdict.
is horrible. That
Gomer, in
changes you.
turn, became more and more absent each day. She went out frequently, returned late, and no longer hid the
It makes
signs
you
of
feel like
contempt. The
useless,
clothes, the
powerless,
perfumes, the averted glances, everything betrayed a divided heart. And
lonely.
Hosea, faithful to his calling, simply waited. There was no confrontation, only silence, because true love does not bind, it endures.
Not
Soon,
good
the
enough.
third pregnancy arrived. Gomer's womb carried another seed, and even then, God spoke to the prophet.
This is your son, and you will call him Lu.
Ami. The pain was deeper than any sword. Loam is not my people. With this name, God ended a cycle. The pact was suspended, the alliance broken like a bridge that collapses in the middle of a river. And Hosea, broken, obeyed once more. Even rejected, even humiliated, even doubting his paternity, he cared for the child as if it were his own.
Doesn't matter for
He
him.
prepared the food, covered him at night, caressed him with the tenderness that only a heart of God could generate in Mirori light. The house,
It actually
now with 3
does.
children, was full of
We're still
childish
made it.
noises, but the essential presence was missing.
That's the big
Gomer
point.
was missing. She was there, but already absent, for she was trapped in her adulterous life. Hosea heard his children's laughter, but his spirit bled in silence. Each night, a piece of the prophecy was fulfilled within him. The love he carried was not human, it was a reflection of God Himself. A love that persists, even without reciprocation, that remains, even betrayed,
That baby
that
is looking
waits,
so weird.
even when everyone else has given up. Hosea lived
What
what no
is this? What is this monstrosity? What the flip? Yeah, that seems more like it from these times. Like, there are many prostitutes that looks exactly like this baby. It's the most disgusting stuff ever. And then it actually makes you scared. Especially when they call you, when you're going through the street or something, that they actually call you and then they look like this baby. It's like, brother, that is nothing that scares me more than this, actually. I'm not even kidding. It actually scares me because they look like monsters. And then they're calling me to do sex with them. It's like, it's a Insta AIDS or something. How can so many men actually like these things and actually do it? So many actually. They actually really go for it. Brother, it's disgusting, man. This so many of these women that I've seen, they look horrible and disgusting. Like I can understand absolutely hot and pretty woman and all this, it truly is hard, but this is disgusting prostitutes that are on the streets and all this, it's like it feels bad, man. How can so many guys that actually has a normal life, actually has a life, actually go for them? Actually stops and go for them, actually likes it. If you go for so many places that has prostitutes and all this, it's not that much different actually. They look very usage and horrible, and the guys loves it. And then so many women say, "Oh, go to a I don't know how is it college or English. Go to a prostíbulo. Go to a." I've seen so many women saying things like that. Oh, why are you not going with your friends or something? Like they have no clue about any of this. It's like it's disgusting. Are you serious? I've seen many women telling me that actually back in the days. They actually told me that to go to a place where you make sex with women. Oh, because men are supposed to do that. Yeah, so they lose their virginity or something. Like this mentality is like, and everything about it, and everything about all of this is just disgusting. It's just like this picture. It's like
No man could endure alone, but he was not alone. Heaven sustained him with a strength the world does not comprehend, because God, even wounded, continues to love. Even rejected, he does not abandon. And the prophet, though weary, remained steadfast. Not for Gomer, but for the calling that made him a living image of God's love for Israel. Gomer left one morning when the silence screamed louder than any word. There was no note, no explanation.
I just learned something new. I'm thinking so much about. Oh yeah, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to make it. Look at this story. He actually did feel all of it. God himself feels all of it. And I'm saying like, oh yeah, doesn't matter. I was so wrong. From the beginning of this video, I learned now a new lesson with the story of Isaiah. I actually learned a new lesson. Sure, it doesn't matter, man. Sure. That's not how things truly happens. I was so wrong all this time. I was so confident that it was actually making me weaker. I was overconfident. But I am like, I'm kind of cold human being. I'm not like Isaiah's. I'm a cold human being, honestly.
She simply left, leaving behind her children, her husband, her home, like someone closing a chapter without intending to reopen it. Hosea stood motionless before the door that now lay open only to the wind. He did not follow her because God had not yet commanded him to. The pain in his chest was not only from marital abandonment, but the living reflection of what heaven felt for Israel. The children asked anxiously about their mother's absence. Hosea remained silent. How to explain the innocence of hearts that are lost even within their own home? He did not shirk his responsibility. He
This breath looks
cared for
so
them,
good, by the
fed
way.
them, comforted them, but his gaze was always
I love
distant.
breads like
It was as
this.
if,
There
in
is
caring
some
for the
Greek
children he had left behind, he was
breads
also caring for the
that has
portrait
some
God had painted
special
of his
moistures. They
people.
all look
Israel had also
so
departed,
good.
exchanging
I
eternity
would
for
like to
golden
eat it,
calves.
just like the old
And, like Gomer,
days.
they continued smiling with their lips and
These
dying with their
biscuits that
souls.
we make,
Time passed with the slowness of wounds
I
that do
would,
not
I,
bleed on
my
the
pastor
outside.
make them,
Gomer gave
it's
no
so
news,
delicious.
no letter,
No, it's on
no sign of
the,
life. Her
I don't know how it's
absence
called in
became
English.
part of the furniture. The couple's bed seemed like an altar of daily
It's just so
sacrifice.
delicious.
Hosea
I actually
prayed,
wanna eat
but heaven
more,
seemed to
but I
share
don't
the
know if you
same
can or not.
silence. It wasn't just marital abandonment, it was prophecy incarnate. Just as Israel abandoned its God for fleeting passions, Gomer left her home for pleasures that would soon become shackles. She didn't just go to live with another man, she gave herself to many. She returned to prostitution like one who plunges into a dark, deep river. She sought freedom, but found only devaluation. Hosea's love was a distant memory. God's love seemed too far away for her. Each new lover was more crude than the last, and the more she was touched, the more she was forgotten. So too Israel. The more it mingled with strange gods, the more it lost its identity as a holy nation.
I kinda don't wanna
Hosea
keep
knew
going with
where
this
she was.
story anymore,
He heard
honestly.
rumors, saw mockery in the streets, but God kept him quiet. It was necessary to feel the weight of abandonment, not only as a man, but as a messenger. Each silent tear
I
represented
just
the
watched something else and
generations
then I
God
can't
awaited.
forget.
Each morning without Gomer
Later.
was a mirror of the centuries in which Israel rejected its Lord. The prophet was not only betrayed, he was molded. The pain that shaped him was the same pain that sustained divine compassion. While Hosea remained faithful to his calling, Gomer sank into degradation. She was no longer just a desired woman, but an object of
Me,
exchange.
the
Her body was traded to
addiction.
her dignity dissolved in dark rooms. Her once cheerful face was now a shadow. The name that Hosea had once pronounced with affection was spoken with contempt in the alleys. And like Israel before its idols, Gomer became captive to what she had chosen. The notion of freedom was a lie, enslaving her every day. She fell so low that she ended up being sold. Not for lack of choice, but for lack of value.
I don't know if
She was
all
in the
this is
hands of
true.
others, without
I
identity,
don't remember the entire
without a
story.
future. In the marketplace of bodies, she became merchandise. Eyes pierced her as if there were no soul left there. She was
Ice
barefoot,
pieced?
dirty, with torn clothes and a tired face.
What?
And no one asked where it came from.
I don't remember
only
the
how much it
story
cost.
being truly all this. Or
Likewise,
I would
Israel
never forget
was not a
it.
holy people, but an item among corrupt
And
nations,
many people would be
forgetting
using
its
it many
origin.
times.
And then, when the abyss
That's
seemed
why I need
insurmountable,
all
God
the-
spoke again, but not with anger, with love.
Daughter, go again and rescue your wife, even though she is loved by another man and is an adulteress.
Love her as the Lord loves the Israelites, even though they turn away from the true gods and find pleasure in the sacred risen cakes.
Hosea listened, and his eyes filled with tears, not of anger, but of astonishment at the love that sent him. God was teaching him to love as he loves, not because the person deserves it, but because the covenant continues. It was time to rise up, not out of pride, but for redemption. Because redeeming love never waits for repentance. It provokes it. Hosea obeyed without hesitation. He took silver and barley, the value of an ordinary slave girl. He did not dispute the price. To the world, it was humiliation. To God, obedience.
I am going. Not for her, but for the love of my Lord.
He cloaked up and walked the streets, knowing where she could be found.
I have to
His steps were not hurried,
read
but
the entire
firm.
story.
Each one said, I am going, not for her, but for the love of my Lord.
It's
The
probably
people looked at him. Some whispered,
Kings
but
or
the prophet did not deviate. Heaven was in a hurry, even if the man walked slowly. He arrived at the market at the time when dignity sleeps and
No, it's
shame
not
dwells. It was a place
What's
where
the
no
story
one
of
expects to see a
slaves?
prophet.
It's a short
amidst the
story.
currents, the
It's
harsh
not all
voices and the
this.
dust in the
I'm
air,
100%
He saw
sure.
her. She was in the corner cowering, like a shadow of what she once was. She did not react upon seeing him. Perhaps she no longer recognized him. But he recognized her, with tearful eyes and a firm soul. He saw her as no one there could. And in that gaze, God shouted, She is still mine. Hosea did
There
not
is nothing that
discuss
makes you
values, nor did he hesitate. His gaze
feel
was firm,
worse.
as if he knew
Yeah,
that price
how she
wasn't
looks
buying a
is how
body,
your heart
but liberating
feels
a history.
when you're being
15 shekels of
left
silver
and
and a
betrayed
homer and a
and
half of barley, he
humiliated so
said before
much.
everyone. The amount was exact,
Her outside
neither
was
more
his
nor
inside,
less
and then you
than the
don't want
cost of
this
a common
anymore.
slave, but for him, it was the price of obedient love. The crowd fell silent.
You
There
never
was a
want this
prophet
person
paying
again
for
in your
his
life.
wife, as if she had never belonged to him. But heaven knew that act was not
After a
humiliation,
while,
it was revelation. He paid for a woman who had once been his, and that was the scandal. Redemptive love doesn't wait for the other to deserve it. It acts because it chose to love. Hosea wasn't buying an object, he
I
was
don't even know
restoring
truly
a
this
covenant,
feeling
and
so high like
his
this,
gesture spoke louder than sermons.
so
Israel,
much
you
like
are still
this.
mine.
I only
Gomer, standing
know
there, didn't understand.
parts.
She expected punishment, rejection, distance. But the prophet extended his hand, and with it, the
Being
weight of
betrayed
grace.
is being rejected,
Her
isn't
eyes
it?
asked what her lips dared not say,
And
and the answer came
humiliated.
gently, like a breeze among ruins.
Come with me.
And being
You will not
showed
return to this life.
as how, yeah,
You
it's
will be
the same
mine,
thing
as
as
I
you
am
should
yours.
realize. I've been betrayed
There was
all
no
this
accusation,
time,
no memory
actually.
of betrayals, only a promise. The love that
It's
restores
the
does not
same
raise
thing.
walls, it builds bridges. Hosea did not ask for explanations, did not demand justifications, because God also does not demand when he calls back those who are lost. Restoration begins when love speaks louder than shame. The chains fell one by one. There was no need for a key. What broke there
Every
was
single one of
guilt.
those guys made sex
Gomer
with
wept,
penetrated
but it
her
was not a cry
penis
of
on
fear
her.
nor of overwhelming guilt. It was the weeping of grace, the kind that only happens when a weary heart finds unexpected rest. Hosea did not touch her to dominate, but to welcome her. And in the midst of that filthy marketplace, God was rewriting a
I
story
mean, at
that the
this
whole
point,
world
after
thought was
loving
lost.
someone so much, I
The
think I
steps
would do
back
the same thing,
were
actually.
timid. Gomer walked as one who still does not
Especially
believe what she is
after
experiencing.
seeing this
She looked at the
person in
ground,
this
fearing
situation.
bears. But
Like,
Hosea walked
you
beside
would
her
never be like,
unburdened, as one
come on.
who
There is no
understands
person
that
that would be
healing
like,
takes time. When they
that
arrived
wouldn't
home,
feel
she
bad for that
hesitated
person
before the
after
door,
all this.
the same door she had once passed through when fleeing. But now,
And taking her
inside,
back.
there was no waiting. There was a promise. Hosea led her without demanding that she
It's the
hurry,
same thing, isn't it?
because God's love doesn't push, it invites.
You will stay with me for many days. You will no longer prostitute yourself, nor will you belong
The
to
entire
another man.
nation started looking like her.
We will take care of our house and our children,
And then
just as our
God
God
takes them
asked.
back.
The declaration
When
was
they are
not an imposition,
looking like
but a
this,
covenant.
after
A
doing
mirror
so
of
many
what
things that
God
God
would say to his
told
people,
them, do
to
not
wait,
do that.
to cease the idols, to live in silence
Then
until
all
the
this
time of
happened to them.
restoration. Gomer listened, but did
Not
not fully
because God
understand.
wanted, but because
Still,
God allowed
something trembled within her.
the natural things
There
to
was authority
happen.
in those words, but there was also tenderness.
And that's why He
It
says
was love that
no.
disciplines without hurting. She remained in the house,
That's when He
but
says
fear still
no.
haunted her. She
It's
feared
because
it was
He's
all
saying
temporary.
that will be
But
bad
time
for
passed,
you.
and Hosea didn't demand explanations.
People tends to
He didn't dwell on the past,
confuse
didn't reopen
things
wounds,
between the
only
no
cared.
of God
Just like God with Israel,
and
who even after betrayal
harsh
offered
discipline.
time, silence,
They tend
and
to
mercy.
confuse it.
It was a slow
Many
but real
people,
reconstruction,
even
because
inside the church,
fidelity isn't
don't
shouted, it's
understand
revealed
this meaning.
in daily details. Hosea
Even
didn't
inside the
touch her
church,
like a
imagine
possessive
people
man,
from the
but like
outside.
someone who cherishes her. He knew that the body only surrenders where the soul finds rest. Gomer had never experienced anything like it. Everyone took her, no one waited for her. Now there was a different time. She didn't know if she deserved it, but she felt seen.
I've seen many
And
Adventists
being
that actually
seen
did the
without
same
being judged
thing.
was a new
It would not
way
be
of
a
existing
very
for
hard
her.
thing for us.
Though home
Not
remained,
for us, very
the
too
earth was now
strong.
altered. It
Not
was the
for
ground
us
of grace,
Adventists.
In Gomer's heart,
Many people
shame
actually got
gave way
betrayed,
to
but actually
reverence.
didn't even do
The
anything.
gaze that once
And
fled
actually
now
accepted the person
lingered.
back, and the person
It
actually
wasn't love at first sight.
probably changed.
It was love revealed in
And
every
never came
action.
back to what they did
She
again.
didn't understand everything,
Probably
but she
that.
felt
Who
she was
knows?
being transformed. And it wasn't because Hosea convinced
They
her.
did accept the
It was
person
because
back.
God himself was calling her back through him. Deep in her soul, she began to desire something she had never known. To be faithful, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. Hosea's story ends like this
But
in the Bible.
if someone betrays
A
you,
man who
you are
obeyed love,
actually, and you are
suffered,
married with the
redeemed,
person, you're
and forgave.
actually allowed
And maybe you are
to
thinking
go
to
away,
yourself,
to
why
go
would
for
God
someone
ever
else.
send a
You're
prophet to
actually
marry a
allowed.
prostitute woman? Why would he choose someone so
It's the
holy
only
to live
reason
something
God
so
gives
scandalous?
someone
Because God didn't
to
just want to preach.
forget about the
He
person,
wanted the
because
world
the
to see.
relationship is
He wanted
destroyed.
love to leave heaven
Is when
and
they
be
betray.
incarnated
You
in a
are
marriage torn
allowed
apart by
to,
pain.
actually.
Hosea
But
wasn't
even
chosen
so,
to explain with
many
words.
people still accept
He
them
was
back,
called to live,
and they change
feel,
it.
and suffer what God feels for each of us. Hosea loved Gomer, even when she couldn't love him back. And that's what God does with us every day. We leave him for other gods, for voices that promise more. But he continues to love. He feels every abandonment, every idolatry, every heart that sells itself to the world.
Many leaders
The
have to
difference
remember
is
this
that Hosea
as
was
well.
just a man. God is eternal. But out of mercy, he gave us this living mirror so that there would be no more excuse. Now, we look at this story and are forced to confront it. How far does God's love go? The names of Hosea's sons were not random. Jezreel, God scatters. It was a warning of judgment, a reminder of the spilled blood, of the torn covenant. Lama, uncompassionate, a sign that God would remain silent, not out of hatred, but out of waiting. Il-Em, not my people, the most painful rupture, the suspended covenant. And yet God did not give up. In the end, he promised to restore each name. Because when God corrects, he is preparing the return. He disciplines, but always with a plan of redemption. Now, I ask you, what if it were you? Would you obey this calling? If God asked you to
Discipline
love
of
someone
God
whom
is a
everyone
hard thing
despises,
to be
would you
understood.
love them? If he commanded you to
It's a
forgive those who
complicated
betrayed
one.
you,
You have
would
to
you
be
forgive?
very careful
If he
about the
said,
words you use,
go and
because
seek
it's
those who abandoned
actually
you, would you
a
go?
hard thing to
The story of
be
Hosea
talking
exposes
about.
us, leaves us naked before the God who loves beyond logic. It's easy to talk about forgiveness, but living what this man lived is another level. It's faith that bleeds, that isn't popular, but
You
is
have to be
prophetic.
positive and to be
Hosea didn't
remembering
seek Gomer because
love
she deserved it.
when you're talking about the
He rescued
discipline
her
of
because
God.
God commanded
Because
it.
if you focus on the
Because God's love
discipline,
doesn't
it
depend
will
on the other person's
feel
behavior. It
harsh
depends on the covenant.
and bad.
And that's
And that's
scandalous.
something that God is
It's
completely
offensive.
away from
It's
it.
against the logic of this world. But that's exactly how God loves
Exactly.
us. He buys us back, he pays
It's against
the
the
price,
logic of
he
this world.
prepares the house, he
And people should be
relights the lamp, and
aware
when everyone expects judgment, he
of when they are
offers
teaching,
restoration.
to be
Not because
careful
we've
about
forgotten what we
this.
did,
Because they
but
speak so
because he
much about
decided to remember who
disciplining
we
that
are.
it actually hurts
The story of
many
Hosea
people
is
that
about
are
me
hearing
and you,
it.
about all of us who at some point left God's presence for momentary pleasures he
And
missed.
it's not
It's about the people who forgot the altar
disciplining what
and
makes
knelt
people
before
closer
Baal.
to God.
It's about
It's not
children who
disciplining
lost their
that.
names, but
It's
who
not
are still
disciplining our
sought by
harsh
the Father.
words. It
And when
makes
Gomer
people closer
returns
to
home, she
God, or
doesn't
to
return because she deserves
abandonment,
it to
or to
return.
change, or
Because there
to be
is a
better.
prophet
It's
willing to
actually
obey even
love,
wounded.
which is
God is that
God.
prophet, and you
So you
are
have to
Gomer.
remember this
This is the truth that history
specific,
forces us to
it's the
face.
most
Did you ever
valuable
consider how often God sought you in the
principle.
marketplace
When
of
you're speaking
shame?
about discipline, you
How many
cannot
times has he
focus on
found you
discipline.
stripped,
You
wounded,
cannot be saying words
humiliated?
like,
And even
God
then, he said,
disciplines. You cannot
"You will
say
be
that. Just like
mine."
this whole this guy
He
said.
doesn't ask
It
what you
actually
did.
hurts.
He looks into your eyes. and
should
calls
not
you
be
back.
saying this way.
But there is a price.
But
The price is
this
not
video is
silver
good.
or
But
barley.
I mean, I'm not
It
even
is
understanding everything he's
brokenness.
saying. But
It is recognizing that however far you have
it's
gone, there is
AI
a
English.
house alight waiting for you. And there is a Father who never tires of calling your name. Don't be deceived. Gomer's adultery is the idolatry of Israel. And the idolatry of Israel is our daily unfaithfulness. When we abandon prayer, when we exchange the word for entertainment, when we listen more to the world than to the voice of the Spirit, God doesn't only want outward obedience, and He wants a heart that understands the value of the covenant. Because a covenant isn't broken on impulse. A covenant is only maintained by love, and His love never fails. Hosea's life is more than an ancient scandal. It's a call to us today. It's God asking, do you love enough to forgive? Not, do you believe enough to redeem? God doesn't seek perfect hearts that aren't afraid to obey when love demands more than words, meniokarewats. And now, after everything you've heard, would you forgive Mahav?
We have to
Seek back
always
the one who
remember
abandoned you?
everything God
Would
does,
you love someone who
everything
hurt
is
you?
always
Or are you the
good.
type to stone?
Always.
Hosea wasn't
He
weak
never
for
does
loving
something that
was
is
strong.
bad.
because He loved you.
And that's the problem of many leaders.
And that's what God does even today.
And I'm
He
speaking
waits for
about
you.
my church, which is the
He calls
best.
you. He wants to
Imagine
restore
your
you.
church.
The question is, will
The
you
church is so
return?
dumb.
If this story touched your heart, write in the comments, even when I failed, God loved me. And if you're not following the channel yet, now is the time. With each new story, the Word of God continues to live, opening eyes, healing wounds, and restoring covenants. We're not here out of curiosity. We're here to let the Scriptures read us from within until our hearts beat again for that which is eternal. Oh, now,
7 years ago? It's probably too old. Quem say that? Triumph, Gaza, Israel, and prophecy. Wait, let's see this. Oh my, that would be such a huge. Oof, let's see. 1 year ago. Is just him answering questions? Oh no. It's always bad when he does this way. It's not a program made by many people, but it's his team talking with shot and stuff like that, and the questions and answers. It's terrible. It actually is a huge success.
Hello, friends. We want to welcome you to a special Friday Night Live program with amazing facts. There's been a number of things happening in the news lately, and we're going to be talking about some very important,
Okay,
potentially
let's watch
controversial
his
issues that have to
opinions.
do with what's happening internationally. Some of it is
I just wanna
in
be.
politics, but we really
It's
want to
not. It's
focus
not gonna
on
make
the
any
Word of
difference
God
for me, but
and prophecy. My name is Pastor Doug
I
Batchelor.
won't
My name
hate
is John
him
Ross, and
or
we
like
want to welcome
him
everyone
more.
who is
It's
joining
not
us.
gonna matter to me.
You know,
but
Pastor Doug, you folks are just tuning in now. This is a good time to, well, pick up your phone and text your friend and say,
At this point, I'm used to everything. It's just normal now. At this point, from leaders and all this, it's just we just got used to this. Many people that disagrees with this or that, we just got used. Like it's okay. I won't hate you guys for this. Think you'll say what you want. People can also believe and do what you want. It's like maybe I'm not, but it's as if it feels like it's like I'm Oseas and I'm seeing the church like the prostitute, but it's not really how it's happening. It's just a representation. It's like, yeah, I know you guys think all this. I know you guys are fascists. I know you guys are going to be saying all this about the right wing. It's fine. You just say whatever you want, do whatever you want. People can believe what they want because I just believe God. So it doesn't matter. It's gonna come to an end anyways. Like, what can I do? If I try to do it, so to do something about all this, it's only gonna make things worse, especially for myself. Especially. So all we can do is just accept and not say anything, I guess. Or I can say on my stream, because it's my place now.
Hey, Amazing Facts is live. Tune in to the special program. We're going to be talking about Gaza and the United States, and we're going to be talking about Bible prophecy and the temple in Jerusalem. So, a number of important things that we're going to be talking about.
That's right. And so, yeah, let your friends know to tune in, and we're going to be taking your Bible questions. So we'll give you that information. We'll be putting up a QR code on the screen.
And the worst thing that hurts the most is when they actually bring the Bible as answers to their opinions. As if it's not the opinions, but it's actually God saying. That's the worst, man. That actually hurts so bad. Because it's a misunderstanding, and we can see that it's a misunderstanding. But they still truly believe it just like we believe God the same way. And it's actually sad. It's actually sad. It's actually sad. That the way that they bring the Bible to be answering these politics things. Because it's a big misunderstanding that they are missing key points. That they are bringing parts that are actually being excuses for their beliefs. And then they might say, no, we will never be doing something like this. We are literally saying what's written on the Bible. Look, the other religions also say the same thing about their beliefs. It's the same thing. They actually think just like you. You are witnessing how they think and how they feel about their religions. Can you not see how everything's crazy? The truth still exists, but look, I don't think you can have a Bible answers about Gaza and Israel war, or maybe Russia and Ukraine, which side should choose, your right wing or left wing. You can have principles, but you can't just come in and then be saying God is telling you to be a right wing. You can't do that. You should not do that. First of all leaders.
And if you've got questions about tonight's program, it's up there now. We'll give you a second to get your phone out. You aim your phone. We think you know the drill about. Then you can go to that website.
But the big problem is sometimes there is nothing that can be done about this because especially fascists, they are blind, and when they preach they actually show right-wing principles as being Bible principles, and then they say in a way that no, I'm not talking about politics, but literally everything they say is showing right-wing principles. But no, I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking what the Bible is saying, what God is saying. But everything you said is literally right-wing principles, and then you bring the Bible as excuse for it. That's what is happening. That's the biggest problems, especially when we're talking about the biggest leaders. And that's why you should not be speaking about it. It's better because it hurts. It brings chaos, it brings confusion. Should remember positiveness, goodness, nature, light. And you should be remembering all this. because it's especially on the days that we are going through, it's difficult.
And we do ask this time that when you do submit a question, if you give us an email address, there are actually robots that will take over systems like this. We want to make sure you're a real person. But we're opening it up to any questions relating to the issues that are dealing with Gaza, Israel. President Trump made some surprising statements today, and things that are happening or at least this week, I
Family
should
Bible.
say, and things that are happening in the news. So before we
the
dive
fuck?
in, we've got about an hour to cover 2,000 years of prophecy. So Pastor Ross, maybe you'll begin with a word of prayer for us.
All right, let's do that. Dear Father in heaven, we are so grateful for your word. Indeed, it is a lamp unto our feet, a light unto the path that leads towards hope and a future with you. And Lord, we're also grateful that you reveal to us in the Bible where we are in the stream of time. You give us certain signs that we need to be aware of. And Lord, we thank you that we're able to talk about the scriptures in the light of what's happening in the world around us today. Pray that you be with us here in the studio as we answer Bible questions. Just bring to our mind those passages of scripture, Lord. And we pray a blessing on those who are watching, wherever they might be. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now, Pastor Ross, we don't do these programs very often. In fact, I think the last time we did one was when the war began in Israel. And now we've had a change in administration.
I forgot what I was about to say. I was about to say a good thing. Very, very good one. What was what was I going to say again? I think pretty much said everything.
And just before President Biden left office, he met with the United Nations and he said there's a coalition now between Russia and China and Iran, and with Israel in the crosshairs. And the internet has blown up since then with, well, does this mean, a lot of evangelicals believe Russia is Meshach, Moscow, Gog is China, and that they're going to gather in the valley of Armageddon, and that we're seeing, the beginnings of these things happening now. And I've seen some that are quoting, well, the Euphrates River is drying up, which it is literally drying up, making the way for the kings of the East, and that means China is going to make a land invasion, and now America is becoming more increasingly involved in the politics of Israel. President Trump made a statement this week where he said maybe America should take over Gaza. And, and I think we've got some pictures of the news conference that took place this week. The first head of state that President Trump met with was Benjamin Netanyahu. And that during that discussion, it was something of a grenade that flew out when he said, I think the U.S. will just take over Gaza. And then it was
By the way, there's a big problem about all this because Bolsonaro, I think he'll probably win. I actually think Bolsonaro will win elections, which is this year. It's gonna be a new elections this year, by the way. I think Bolsonaro will win against Lula or whoever is with Lula. I think Bolsonaro will win, and he was quiet for so many years before he loses his position as the president. He was trying so many things, but then he just stayed quiet. That he played smart. Because the more things he was doing, which was chaotic, the worse it was for him, and he could be just lose his position to be the new president again. So he just stayed quiet. Smart move. And then now, I actually think he will win. The statistics says that he's way higher, actually. Plus 10% than Lula. Before, it was saying that Lula was way higher. And Lula almost lost. It was a very close one. And now it's actually showing the opposite. Bolsonaro is the one that is way higher. So I think Bolsonaro will win, honestly. And the thing is, if Bolsonaro wins, let's say he wins, he will do the same thing as Trump. Everyone knows that. He will join with Israel, he will join with Trump. They will all make more and more alliances. Israel is making alliance with Trump, which is gonna make alliance with Bolsonaro, that is Brazil, which means a lot of things about South America. But the thing is, I'm talking about myself right now, and the country that I live, Brazil. Will they go to war as well? They might. Bolsonaro might do war with other countries and join Trump and do everything that he's doing and all of this stuff. They might join together. Bolsonaro might be like a dog. And the thing is, if Brazil goes to war and something really bad happens to us or critical between these wars, I will be one of the people that will be obliged to go to war. So just so you know, if Bolsonaro wins, I will probably die. Okay, I don't know if I will die, but I might die. Just so you know, because I'm going to war. I have to. Everyone that have served or is athletic, especially athletics, also college afterwards, especially people that have served, they have to go, right? Interesting, huh? So many Adventists from my country will vote for Bolsonaro, and they have no clue that there is so many Adventists that have served the army and that will go to the war, that Bolsonaro might go wars, might join wars. They vote will kill many of their own, will kill many Adventists. They vote will kill many Adventists. And we have a very high mutual respect and love for each other. And these fascists, they are voting for all death sentence. Just like how David signed the paper saying for how's it called in English? What's his name now again? It's my meds and job. Oh yeah, I actually can be safe actually because I because I recently have mental problems. People with diseases they are actually safe. Yeah, I'm actually safe now after I have these problems, proven facts problems. Which is funny, but I'm actually safer. I actually have this, but look, I don't know, man. I might go because intentionally. Nah, I'm not joining. I'm not joining war, man. Like, I'm not joining war. Like, even if it's like, oh yeah, you maybe should go to protect and to help. Protect and help who? Like, if I'm going to war, it still makes me think about it, but because there is an honor thing going on, but honor of what, man? Like I might probably choose if I'm going or not because of my health issues. I can go if I want, but um, I probably can go if I want, but um, there is no honor on war, man. You're just joining something that should have never happened to start with. And then you're going to be killing people that should have never be killed to start with. What are you gonna do? Like, you're not protecting anything. You're not protecting the country. You're not doing anything. Everyone should just not go to the war, actually. I should not go to the war as an act of protest, in fact, instead of going for it. It's actually better. There is no honor on this. He literally joined a war, like, especially when it's evil like this. And Trump is clearly taking Russia's side. Communists, by the way, that they hate so much. We are at the side of the communists. What is going on? I thought you guys hated communists, but Russia communism and communists. Why are they taking side with Russia? The Israel is also taking side with Russia. And then they brought a new guy, this guy, Benjamin Netanyahu, but he's just a representation of Russia. A new and better representation of Russia. Because Russia was representing communism, because everyone knows it's communism. And then what did they do? Oh yeah, let's go for Benjamin Netanyahu. Because he's representing Israel, which is perfect. It's actually perfect move. Perfect. Like, let's go. It's Christian, it's Israel, it's power, it's gladiator stuff and stuff like this. It's perfect. That's exactly the person that they should be joining. Wish we'll join with Russia, but oh no, we have nothing to do with Russia. It's the perfect chess check. Like, and it's so easily understandable, and fascists that are believing these people and voting for these people, they cannot realize any of this like we do. And look, I also hate anti-religion. Anything that is anti-religion, I also hate it. I also hate any sort of extremism, be it fascist or be it extremists like anarchists that also hates the religion, that by the way are worse than fascists. I've met both of them. The anarchists, atheists are the worst people that I've ever met in my entire life, especially these ones that are speaking English, which I don't know if they are from North America or not. I don't know. They're from everywhere, I guess. I don't know if they are specifically from North America, but they're the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. It's the extremists from the left, but also haters of religion. It's the literally the extremists from the left. They are worse than fascists, the far right. So if you had to choose between a guy that is with these people or Trump, I would actually go for Trump. Just so things be clear. Because I've never seen anything worse in my life. These people are truly bad, man. They're truly bad. They're just like fascists, but they do worse stuff about religion as well, about Christianism as well. They're just like Trump stuff, just like fascist stuff. No, it's like almost no difference, but they also hate God and go instantly as opposition to God. It's the worst stuff that can ever be. And they bully other people. They bully Christians, they bully religious people. They are the worst of the worst. And that's why, on the beginning, even though we had so much in common between me and anonymous hackers, on the beginning we actually became friends unintentionally. Kind of, like, not friends, but we just started following each other and started actually being friends, yeah. But then when I've seen that most anonymous are actually these people, and every group is made of its people. There is no such thing as, oh, my group has no intentions. My group is everything. It doesn't exist, man. Every group is made of its people. If the people from Anonymous, which is the big majority, but not everyone, everyone that follows me are probably the best kind of Anonymous and people. Because Anonymous that follows me, even though they know who I am and everything about me, and they still follow me, they can only be the best people. There is no way that bad people would follow me. Like, they're the best people. They're the best Anons. Because even though they know everything about me and that we have so much things inverted about each other and they still follow me and they are still my friends, they're the best sort of people. I actually can trust them. I mean, I don't know if I can trust them, honestly. But I actually like them, truly like friends and all this. But anyways, most Anons are made of people that are just like this, just as I said. The worst. So I can never be calling myself part of this. Even especially that Anons are usually hackers and I'm not even truly a hacker. I just know some stuff. About many things. But we ended up knowing each other and we ended up being friends and I think every single one knows me, or almost everyone. At least the ones that are connected to everything and knows a lot about Anons in general, they all know me for sure. They said about so many things. I remember going to the group of Anons on Telegram and actually preaching there about Ellen White and all this. I still remember. Not many fights actually happened. It was all good actually, but everyone was just saying that religion is just control because that's what they believe, that religion is control, which is, as I said, just like these people. But some people they just stay quiet, but they believe the same thing. And that's not the worst problem. The worst problem is when you're actually bullying people, when you're actually going for people, when you're actually attacking people only because you think they are being controlled by a religion that they want to follow because they want to. Because no one is doing anything to them. They actually want to be from this religion. They believe what they believe. Yeah, homosexualism is evil. And then they're gonna be like, I'm going to attack you. You should be bullied. You this, you that. Look, man, one thing is speaking. It's the freedom of speaking. It's the freedom of religion. It's the freedom of decision. Another thing is actually bullying people, is actually attacking people. Those things are completely different from each other. I cannot attack gay people or be offensive towards them in this way. Just like these people cannot be offensive towards people that are following any sort of religion. It's the same thing. Can you guys not see that you are just like fascists? These guys, these people, they are just like fascists. They are the exactly same thing. They are the exactly same thing. They're the exact same thing. Am I showing my hand? Okay. To be more expressive, they are the exactly same thing. It's actually impressive. It's as if they are destined to kill each other, and no one left alive. Unless the ones that are realizing what is going on and are going to just leave this. Which are probably the ones that follows me because they probably have some sort of good mentality, goodwill mentality, or they would never be following me. They are more kind people. Only the kind people could follow me like this. Because they know everything. There are even gay people that follows me. And I'm literally saying gay is evil. Homosexuals is evil. According to the Bible, according to the word of God. It's not something supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be male with female and female with male. But many of them still don't hate me. Why? Maybe I know how to speak well with all of these people, which these leaders they don't. I'm not a pastor or any of this, but I know how to speak with these people better any of these leaders that literally studied for decades, almost 100 years about this. And I know more than they do, even though I don't even train this. It's literally natural from my nature. Like, why? Many of these people don't hate me, man. And I'm literally saying this. I'm literally saying this. Gay is evil. Gay is not something that God wants for us. And they don't hate me, actually. Most of them. I don't think I've met a gay that has ever hated me for saying this. They're actually respectful towards me. They feel respected. It's insane because I think like if I say this, they will probably not like it. I don't know, but the way I say it, they actually trust me. That's insane to me. I mean, it's not like they trust me, but they don't hate me. They actually are friendly towards me. It's like they can feel in my nature or something that I want no how do you say it? Like I have a white flag. I think they can feel it or something. Not like these fascists that are actually offensive, actually attacking, actually bullying. Which is not that many, by the way. There are way more people that are bullying religious people that I've seen. They're actually fascists. They actually use it to be on the beginning, but they have changed lately. They are more like they are not attacking people so much. I think Christianism kind of grouped for this, which is a good thing, but also it's going to be a bad thing in the future because everyone is going to agree as one to have this Sunday as the day of keeping and all this. Anyways, let's watch the video now.
Iterated at a prayer breakfast. And he did include the word.
And they hate all of these leaders. Why? You guys should evaluate the way you speak, the words you use. You can't be just saying these things this way. It should be changed, honestly. Because the way I speak is, for them, is light. The way you guys speak, even for me, as an Adventist, is heavy. They don't know. Like, they should put younger people on the leadership. I think that's what the Adventists should do. Why am I speaking like the Adventists are actually watching me? They are not. It's just my opinion in this. Because I think people that are from generations too afar from nowadays, they can't understand and use words very well as younger people can, I think. I think the generations are too afar from each other. It's literally, we're literally talking about years that passed thousands, like 90s to the 21st century now, to 2000s now. It's like from 1000 to 2000. Like it was a huge change on a lot of things.
Word, it's suggested. You know, of course, the United States really has no authority to take over a country.
The problem is actually, I'm seeing so many people that are young people and they're actually worse. They're actually worse. They are from my age or similar to my age. And they're actually worse than these older people. No, never mind. Don't put younger people actually. Because the people from my generation that are also right wing like you guys, they are worse than you guys. They are worse than you guys. I've seen they speaking many times. I've never found a single one that was good. Every single one is also using harsh words, but they also lack your experience, which is making the difference as you, as the way older to be the leader, honestly. Like, just put me, I guess. Like, I don't know, man. It's okay, though. God's in control of everything. It's
And
fine.
maybe I should just
It's
say a
not
word or
the.
two in preface. Keep everything in perspective, friends. President Trump, again, I'm not making a political statement. I'm trying to be factual, but he has said we're going to make
Yeah, just as I
Canada.
said, he's trying to. His experience, because he's way older, is telling him, even though he's a fascist, I know he's a fascist. I know he's a right wing. Because right wing now is fascist. If you're right wing, you're fascist. Because every right wing is aligning with Trump. Trump is a fascist. It's fascism. Just like Bolsonaro. They're all aligning with each other. Just like Russia is also fascism. And Benjamin Netanyahu is not so much, but it's also making part of it. So it's how things is. No. But they have experience, the older people, which is better. At least the younger people doesn't. So never mind about this. The younger people use even worse words. They're even more offensive.
The 51st state. We're going to buy Greenland, going to take over the Panama Canal, and the tariffs with
We need these
Mexico and
older.
Canada.
If you're talking about fascists, we need these older people alive. We need them to not die. Because if the younger people takes over, things are gonna be worse. If they're also fascists.
Turned out it was something of a negotiating tactic. And so when you hear this kind of bluster and hyperbole, just keep in mind that some of it is really shooting for the moon, hoping they'll hit the treetops. So I wouldn't get overly excited, because I think the international community is going to have something to say about America taking over the Gaza Strip. But the reason he said that is that President Trump just looks at the conditions there, and he gets security briefings now, and Israel really has blasted the Gaza Strip, so that I think we've got some pictures that are fairly recent, just to give people an idea of this is what we're saying. This is a ceasefire. It's not even the end of the war, and you can just look at picture after picture. It is just devastation, and in order to rebuild that, the people are going to be just in some abject poverty, and they're going to just have to ship supplies in.
Oh
President Trump,
no,
people
this
need to
donkey, this
poverty, and
poor
they're going to
donkey,
just have to ship supplies in some.
he's not gonna survive. He's probably dead at this point. Because you know about animals and people. They always exploit animals. This donkey cannot even hold this weight, by the way. It's too much for him. In fact, donkeys and horses cannot hold by themselves all alone more than 70 kilograms, I think. And that's little compared to what people do to them. That's like people do at least triple times or double times the weight that they can carry. That is insane. They cannot live their life carrying this. That's why he's getting is more like uh is lean over passing the time that he's getting more and more is lean. Even though you keep giving him food, because he's getting sick, because he's being a slave. That's why they are getting like this. Because even though they are giving them food, many of these animals, I have animals like this in my place. They give them food, but they are used like slaves. That's why they look so slim, because they are getting sick with so much weight and oppression that they should not have. It's too much for them. They're being too harsh on them. They're not. It's scientifically proven. It's something like this. I think it's 70 kilograms. And people do way more than this, like triple times of this, and they keep carrying this forever, with the entire day. They rest and all this, but they can't carry all this. This, like, two people and this thing there, like, especially a weak donkey that is not even eating very well. This donkey is dead now. 100% dead. The same thing happens here in my place. I see many horses and donkeys looking like this, exactly like this kind of stuff. And I'm like, but there are also many that are just carrying one guy on their back. And you look, it's 70 kilograms or something like this. And you are speaking about a healthy horse. They can't even carry a heavy person too much. Very well. They can't even carry a heavy person. People do 3 times this. It's at least 3 times. Horses and donkeys are actually not that strong. Let's see this on the AI real quick. Let's take a look at this. Look. How many kilograms can a horse or donkeys carry? About 70, you see this? It's true. From 70 to 135 kilograms. You see this? A donkey generally can carry 15 kilograms. Donkeys can carry around 50 kilograms. The horses can carry about 70 to 135. And you're speaking about strong horses and healthy horses. That's how much they can carry. They can't even carry a heavy person for too long. They can't. They can't. It's unhealthy for them. That's why all of these people always has unhealthy animals, and they all die all the time. I see this here in my place. The animals, the horses, the donkeys, all look sick and slim, and they look literally like slaves. If you see the picture of people being slaves, it's these animals. It's the same thing. They are being treated like slaves. It's slavery. They can't do more than this. It's not safe for them. It's not healthy for them. Look. They can just carry a one person in their back, and if the person is too heavy, they can't. They should not. They are too strong, but safely and healthily, they should not. Is it showing there? Yeah, yes. Maximum 135 kilograms a horse. A healthy horse. And these animals are usually not even healthy or strong.
Some abject poverty, and they're going to just have to ship supplies in. President Trump, people need to realize, is a developer. And he's saying, look, if you want to rebuild that and build infrastructure, you got to relocate people. Well, that's a hot topic about relocating the Palestinians, because he's thinking, well, you got to get them out of there so you can bulldoze and rebuild. And And so I think he makes these statements off the cuff. Now, having said that, the Jerusalem Post recorded, they did a survey, 80% of Israelis wish that the Palestinians would relocate. I'm not saying good or bad, but because it's almost like you feel like you have a neighbor and your neighbor poisons your dog and, shoots at you every now and then, and you think, well, I wish they weren't my neighbor.
Like only this, like you can't use the word family. You can't. Family Bible, it's triggering me. It's triggering me. Because the word family have everything has a symbolism. And the words you use has a symbolism. You using the word family now, it's mean. It's literally saying I'm a fascist and I'm everything they are. That's what it means when you start the word family now. It means this. You cannot be using this anymore. You have to go away from this word because someone took the property of it. And then if you start to talk with people, hey, it's just like going into places that are in critical, like you can literally not use a Pathfinder uniform from the Adventists that kind of looks like military because people will be scared you will hate you. It's the same thing. You can't use the word family. You can't use the word family. If you use the word family, you are going to be saying that you are together with these fascists. You are side by side with these fascists. And I will never trust you. And I myself, even though I am all this, I will hate it. And I'll be like, go away from me because I don't think you have anything to do with God. You are nothing like God. Your words doesn't proceed from God. I already have this feeling. And that's only a start. And I'm an Adventist and I don't even hate them so much. Imagine these other people. I just like them. Of course, you can't go away from this. You can't go away from this. But we still speak, we still have friends. I can, of course, help, just like I would help any enemy, any moment of my life. I learned that with anime, by the way. Sanji. It's not Sanji that taught me that, but Sanji has some really good examples about this. I still remember the classic One Piece moments when Sanji was actually feeding the very same guys that were bullying him. I remember they were bullying him and his family stuff and attacking him and they were fighting and all this. And then these guys destroyed everything in the restaurant and then this guy that was the leader, they came back after. Everyone died. Only him survived and he was begging for food now. After he did all this to the restaurant, Sanji came into the restaurant, made the best food for him because he's an insane cooker. He's a really good cooker. He made his best food as if he's feeding his clients. And then he gave this guy for free, even after everything this guy has done to him. That many moments of One Piece took me so deeply that I could not see anything else but the Bible in there. That was literally what the Bible teaches us. And they showed us in this moment in an incredible, impactful way. I was like, damn. So that's what the Bible means. Because it truly was impactful, man. He was literally bullied, they destroyed everything, this leader and his clan. And then they went out after doing all this. And after bullying him as well with his dream and everything. And then he was the only one left alive from an accident or something like this happened. And he was extremely hungry. And he happened that he went back to this restaurant begging for food. He could kick this guy because this guy was kicking him. And his kicks are strong. Sanji kicks are strong. It's literally his weapons, it's his kicks. And his hands are only used to make food. And his kicks are made for fighting. And then he actually made the best food for this guy and fed him. And then Luffy asked him, and then Luffy was like, hey, I like you. I want you to be part of my crew. Luffy loved him at first glance when he saw this. Was like, yeah, that's the cook I want on my ship. I still remember this. And they were both happy and they shared their dreams with each other. And then Sanjay also told him that it doesn't matter if it's an enemy or ally, anyone hungry will never be hungry on his watch. That is like huge. It's pretty. It was awesome. Actually, it was a really, really pretty moment. And then it's already 9 p.m. I have to go to sleep before I wake up too late tomorrow. And I end up feeling too lazy. I can't. I can't not go. Can't not go.
So, there is concern about that. But who has a right to the land and the history is a very interesting, convoluted story. You can talk about God's promise to Abraham in Genesis 15, where he says, I'm going to give you and your descendants this land. Later, he calls it a perpetual covenant. And he even outlines the borders in Numbers very specifically. If you want to read all the Hebrew names, told them exactly where their borders would be, reaching all the way to the Euphrates River, to the north, Mediterranean, out to the desert, down to the river of Egypt, a big swath of country. But then, because of their unfaithfulness, God said, I'm now going to dispossess you twice. Once with the Babylonians, they came back, then again with the Romans. So, there's a great dispute on, do they have a right? The people who are living in Palestine now, they call them Palestinians, but that's actually a misnomer. During the Jewish wars, a Roman emperor, not wanting to call it the land of Israel anymore, because they conquered and dispossessed them, he said, well, we're going to call it the land of the Philistines, hence the word Palestine. It's been called the Levant and Israel. So the Palestinians are not Philistines and they're not Canaanites. During the Ottoman Empire, Solomon the Great, that's why the Christians were fighting the Crusades. They filled that country with Arabs, largely after Muhammad, which is 700 AD. So they're all Arab-speaking people. You and I have been to Israel. I've been to Russia. You've been to some of the Eastern Bloc countries. I've been to China a couple of times. So friends, we're in touch with what's happening internationally. So now, does this mean that America is now going to get involved and the international community is going to rise up against this and they're going to all gather in the Valley of Megiddo and a war is going to break out?
Well, Pastor, like several things, just listening to you share a little bit. Well, first of all, we were in Israel. It is an interesting place. It's not big. The land of Israel is not big. When you come from the United States, you think of
New
states,
Jersey.
it's very small.
Yeah.
And yet the focus on Israel is, of course, highly focused. The interest is not amongst the Americans and European nations, but you've got the Arab nations, you've got Iran, Iraq, all of the...
By the way, that's kind of funny. Who is winning on all this? Israel. What the flip? Because they are the bait on the media of all this. And then Trump are going for Israel, and then Bolsonaro is going for Israel, and then everyone is going for Israel. But Israel is also Russia, which is kinda like China, but China is actually being like, no, we are not with Russia, we're peace. But behind the scenes, they're actually helping Russia. And then there's a lot of stuff going on. It's like, it's crazy. It's the same thing. And then Trump is supposed to be the right wing or something. Is actually going for Israel, which is Russia as well. And then everyone is Elon Musk as well. And then like everything is just aligned with each other. Like, and then Benjamin Netanyahu is actually going to be the guy owning everything. He's the bait. And then he's the win, 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 win. I accept all of this. He's the one getting everything for free. Okay. He's not really part of any of this. His stuff right now is with the Palestine and all this. But he's actually accepting the Trump stuff, and was also Bolsonaro and is also Bolsonaro stuff, and of course he's also going for Israel. He's just going to repeat Trump. Whatever Trump does, Bolsonaro is also going to repeat. But Trump brought a lot of Christians into all this, which makes me feel safer than having an entire team of military in your government. Every single one of person a military or something like this, or someone that came from the military and also has aggressive speakings and all this. That's creepy. Like that cannot happen. Like that's literally the team of Bolsonaro. It's not even a team of Christians. It's a team of military people. Trump actually brings a team of Christians, which is also many of the militaries and all this, but at least there is a bunch of Christians and all this, and not everyone is a bad person. But Bolsonaro, there is a huge evil, like a hole that he opens this hole and then brings everyone out of this hole of evil military people that he's bringing to his team. Like he's not by far, but he can't be a president, man. But I think he will win this time again. Then maybe if the war is not over yet, on the next one, I think Lula might win again, because I kind of know Brazilians a little bit. They are not really aligned to one thing. They're like, oh, the commerce, the everything is getting more expensive with this guy. Okay, let's just go the other guy. They went for Bolsonaro. Oh, yeah, things are getting even worse. Let's go for Lula again. Yeah, Lula. But Lula didn't even win by that much, because you know fascism. People actually worship their leaders. It's a little bit difficult to make people abandon their idols. But Lula won, but many people changed it, and it was like, yeah, let's just go for Lula now. Like everything is getting worse, let's just go for Lula. And then everything is also still going worse. Anyways, people are apparently changing once again. Yeah, let's go with Bolsonaro again. It's like they have a bad memory. They forget and then they just keep changing. They are just stupid. It's just people everywhere, actually. But that goes especially for Brazilians. They like changing their allegiance too much. That's crazy. Is it the same thing with the West? I don't know. I think it's humans in general. Humans are stupid.
Egypt, all of these nations are very interested. Syria, very interested in what's happening in Israel. It's sort of the central focal point. Of course, there's always been conflict in Israel. Even back in Bible times, it was a place of war. And I think what's brought all of this to light is it seemed that things are somewhat simmering, or we didn't hear much about it until October 7, 2023, where all of this broke open. And of course, then people began to take sides, and the United States, with its military force, was supplying arms to Israel in the war and all the rest of this. But it is interesting that there are a lot of Christians in America, evangelical Christians, who are very interested in what's happening in Israel, and in particular Jerusalem, and they connected to a spiritual application that somehow Israel and the temple in particular needs to be rebuilt in Jerusalem, and that is a fulfillment of prophecy.
Mhm.
How do we see that in the Bible?
Yeah, well, the Lord says pretty clearly to Abraham, I believe this is Genesis 12, that,
I think I went
and
too
bless
much
and I'll
the
bless you, and
politics,
he who
but it's
blesses
okay.
you will be blessed. And so there's been an increasing number of programs coming from Christians and evangelicals talking about how important it is to love and to bless and support Israel, that the church can be blessed. And I think that there may be some misunderstandings there. And I always feel like I need to say at some point in this program, I consider myself Jewish, my mother's Jewish. Becoming a Christian I never saw as a conflict where I had to deny being Jewish. I actually think it's more of a fulfillment in some sense. So, I'm very sympathetic. Our whole side of my family is Jewish. There are some Christians that believe in what they call replacement theology. And what they mean by that is that once Israel as a nation rejected the gospel, and Christ said, your house is left you desolate, that the Jews are being totally cut off as a people, and they no longer have any relevance in prophecy. Now we have spiritual Israel. Now there's some verses on both sides, and so just to be fair, it is true
that I don't know
that Christians now, if you are Christ, Paul said, you are Abraham's seed. And John the Baptist said, God is able to raise up children to Abraham from these stones. And Paul says, he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, he is a Jew who is one inwardly. And it is not circumcision in the flesh, it's circumcision in the heart. But Christians are only saved by a covenant made to Israel. The new covenant. And you find it in the Old Testament in Jeremiah 31, I think.
Yeah,
it says, a new covenant I will make with the house of Israel. Now we're saved based on the New Testament, New Covenant. So every Christian really becomes a spiritual Jew, but that doesn't mean, Paul says, has God forgotten his people? He said, God forbid. So he still has a plan for his people. So between these two extremes of it being all about Israel and spiritual Israel, there's a truth. And we're hopefully going to bring some light to that tonight.
That brings up the next subject. I don't think it's true. Israel is a
Oh
people
no,
of the
not the
Jewish
family
people, and I'm
Bible.
thinking
It's
about the
even
connection
hedged
between
all around it.
evangelical Christians here. It seems,
like
they understand it to some degree, but there seems to be a
family
lot more
Bible.
interest or focus on the temple being rebuilt in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there any significance to a temple being rebuilt in Jerusalem? Of course, in order for that to happen, they'd have to remove the Dome of the Rock, which I think is the second most sacred spot amongst the Muslims. But even if they did rebuild a temple in Jerusalem, would that temple be a fulfillment of prophecy? Would it somehow have significance in God's eyes? Would they start a sacrificial system? Would those sacrifices have value?
I'm really glad you asked that. Now, I think when you and I were last in Israel, it was during Trump's first term, and it was the 70th anniversary of the formation of Israel, and Trump had just moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which was, it created a lot of stir. And he was working on the Abrahamic Accords, trying to create some normalized relations between some of the Arab nations and Israel. So that was in the news a lot, and they were saying, well, the next thing is he's going to support the Jews rebuilding the temple. But when you go to Israel, there is almost no discussion or interest in Israel of doing that. And that whole idea in the evangelical world comes from one verse. Is it 1 Thessalonians?
2 Thessalonians. I think you got it in your notes there.
Yeah. It says, then that evil one.
2 Thessalonians 2, 3 and 4.
I do. Let no one deceive you. 2 Thessalonians, as you said, 2 verse 3 and 4. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day of the Lord, will not come unless there comes a falling away first. He doesn't mean in the world's falling away in the church. And the man of sin be revealed. This is the Antichrist power, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or worshipped, so that he sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Revelation describes this beast as guilty of blasphemy, putting yourself in the place of God. Now here's where the rub is. They take that verse. In order for the Antichrist to sit in the temple of God, they figure temple's got to be rebuilt. But what is the temple of God talking about here? I've got a whole raft of scriptures that deal with this subject. First of all, Jesus tells us, destroy this temple made with hands, and the Gospel of John chapter 2, I believe. And in 3 days I'll
Satan
make one without
favorite
hands.
strategy.
The Bible says,
Confusion
Paul
and
declares,
false
what don't you
flag
know?
as well.
You are the temple of God. And he not only says your body, he says ye are the temple of God, the people. And again, the church is called the body of Christ. And it says we are living stones built up into a temple of the Lord. And so it's interesting. In Revelation, it says there is no temple, and then it says we are temple and we are pillars in the temple of God. So there's obviously a spiritual temple that is spoken of, where God's people become a habitation. So when it says that the beast power sits in the temple of God, do not rush to the idea that that means they're going to bulldoze that area. The Jews aren't interested in building a temple in Miami, New York, or anywhere else in Israel. If they rebuild the temple, it's got to be on the same site as the other two temples. And that's the Mount Moriah, Mount Zion, the Dome of the Rock.
This Bible head.
There is, it's the second or third most sacred
It's
Muslim
infernal head,
mosque there.
literally.
Just imagine what's going to happen if
Spider head.
America or Israel goes in with a D11. and
Look,
tries
the
to
Holy Bible on the
bulldoze
other
that.
side is just
The
kind of...
outrage and the terrorism that would be generated all over the world, you'd have 9/11s happening everywhere. That's not what it's talking about. So people who are waiting for Israel or America to help Israel rebuild that temple so the Antichrist can sit in it, all based on one verse, is being misunderstood. The Antichrist power is sitting in the temple of God now. Protestant reformers believed that the papal institution was a man putting himself in the place of God, sitting over the church of God, saying that he is the vicar of Christ, the prerogatives that belong to God the Spirit. And that's what the Protestants always believed, but in the last 100 years, there's been a futuristic view.
Yes, there's been some history that's kind of interesting, Pastor Doug. So you have Martin Luther and the other reformers who, using this passage and many others, were identifying the papal power as the fulfillment, this Antichrist power. Not only is it Martin Luther and others referring to the Pope as the Antichrist, but for a while there were two popes vying for control, and they were calling each other the Antichrist, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, so...
That was during the time Marco Polo wanted to get a priest to go to China. They didn't have time. They were fighting with each other.
That's right, calling each other the Antichrist. But, so, in response to the Protestant Reformation, you have the Counter-Reformation. Ignatius Loyola and others sort of
Leader of the Jesuits.
Leader of the Jesuits. And so they are sort of the fathers of two forms of interpretation. So you have prophetic interpretation, the historist position, which is what the reformers are using.
Now let me pause here. So
Explain what that
historist means you believe that Revelation is covering a panorama of history from the first coming to the second coming, and we would probably call ourselves historists.
And the reason for that is if you look in Daniel chapter 2, you got Nebuchadnezzar's image and the head and chest and arms of silver and so on. Then it's explained from a historical perspective, one kingdom following another and another all the way down to second coming of Christ. So the Protestants based their interpretation of prophecy on the historist position. But in response to that, to try and move the focus away from the papal power, there were two views, both of which, interesting enough, were endorsed by the Vatican, by the papal power. The one is preterism, which was the older one, that said everything in Revelation really took place in the 1st century AD.
Nero was the Antichrist.
That's right.
It's all in the past.
So don't worry about the book of Revelation. It doesn't have anything to do with our time. That didn't really go that well, because when you read Revelation, it's clearly talking about the second coming of Christ, and it's events that have not taken place. But the more popular view that was also created by the Counter-Reformation is what we call futurism. And that was a view that was presented and eventually found its way in through various commentaries,
Campbell,
Protestant,
and brought it
Darby
into
Bible, and it kind of
Schofield Bible
kind of crept into
and then
Protestantism.
Hal Lindsey wrote The Late Great Planet Earth.
So what
Kim
is
LaHaye
futurism
became
then
very popular.
in a nutshell?
Yeah, futurism is taking Revelation 4 on, when it says, come up hither, I heard a trumpet. They say that trumpet's the second coming, or the secret rapture, rather. And that everything from Revelation 4 on...
By the way, talking back about One Piece, the Robin backstory of One Piece. One Piece made me. I was an atheist during the times that I started watch One Piece. Till the times that I stopped. Not the time that I stopped. No, I became an Adventist after, but I dropped One Piece and I came back again after a while. But when I was remembering the Bible all the time when I was watching One Piece. That's why I say that One Piece has crazy stories, because the crazy stories of One Piece remembers many crazy stories of the Bible, and it's crazy to me. And the good ones, the good kind, they kind of repeat the process, like guys that waited enslaved for hundreds and hundreds of years, waiting for who's going to free them. And then Luffy comes in with his group against all odds. And then I still remember the Crocodile, the Alabasta season. There is a guy that he had faith on believing that it was going to rain on the desert. He was literally making a hole, and then his kid was like, Dad, why are you doing this for decades? It's going to rain, my son. It's going to rain. He was making holes, and then the desert coming, and then he makes holes again, and over again, and again, and again. This guy did that his entire life. He's an old man now. He's still believing that it was going to rain on the land of Alabasta. It was going to rain. This moment felt impressed me. I was an atheist, and I was like, I cried, just like how so many people also cries on the stories of One Piece. I cried on this one as well. And it actually made me remember of the Bible, but it still wasn't enough. It still didn't make me go back to believe. But it actually made me remember the stories of the Bible that I heard when I was very little. Many stories of One Piece are very like incredible. This story, this guy had faith that a miracle was going to happen. That is truly his fate. One Piece has those moments many times, as well as many bad things, but they have these moments that are incredible, that actually teaches you good Bible values. I also remember coming back to the Nico Robin story. I still remember how the knowledge of history. They had many books that looked like Bibles, and they were being enslaved and killed because they knew too much about the world government and a lot of stuff. They knew too much. And the books, which looked like Bibles, it had the appearance of Bibles, were being burned as well as the people. They were all dying, but dying proudly. But they were dying, and then a lot of suffering. And Nico Robin is the last survivor of this group that knows a lot, knows too much, right? About history and many books, and also some books looked like Bibles and archaeology. It also impressed me to the Bible again. Many stories of One Piece were actually bringing me, pointing me to the Bible over and over again, and that's insane to me. And then I ended up coming back to the church. Anyways,
It's talking about what's happening here on earth during these plagues and
but
things,
he
and the
used
church is gone
anything
at that
to
point.
impress people
Right.
the way he
So
knows
the
them very
identifying
well.
characteristics given in Revelation, well, it can't apply to the papal power because it's yet in the future, during the 7 years of tribulation. Then the idea came up that, well, you got 7 years, you got 3.5, they like the number 3.5, and this is a misunderstanding of Daniel chapter 9. You'd have 3.5 years, and then the Antichrist power would sit in the temple in Jerusalem, and this is during the time of trouble, and then another 3.5 years, so that's 7-year tribulation. But in order for this Antichrist that is yet in the future to appear, the temple has to be rebuilt. Now, you mentioned that for most of the Jews, they don't really have an interest in rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem, because if they build a temple with concrete and steel, it's going to have no comparison to the stones at the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall, which to the Jew has far more significance because it ties them back to their past.
Yeah, and the tracing down the lineage of the whole Levitical priesthood, you read the book of Ezra, they had such a hard time reinstating. They wanted to make sure they had the sons of Aaron and the Levites, and they were trying to look at the genealogies and to reinstate the official priesthood. And it's going to be very hard since the dispersion of Jews around the world, and the records have largely been lost. The Jews have had a theology that does not require the sacrificing of lambs other than the Passover. And they don't, in our Jewish family, if you had the Passover, we didn't go cut the throat of a lamb, you buy it at the market. So the whole thing is different. And to try and reinstate that, I've never heard any Jews, there probably are some Orthodox Jews that are, but I have never heard a Jew that is clamoring for the rebuilding of the temple. It's the evangelicals that are talking about that.
That's right.
And now, before we could use up our time, and I have a tendency to get hypnotized by my own voice.
And by the way, talking back about the animals, it's incredible because I've seen this donkey here of this person specifically here where I live that has a donkey that carry a very heavy cart that he places the entire junk and then people pays him and then he uses his donkey to carry everything. It's probably like, I don't know, man, 200 kilograms, 300, I don't know. And they can only carry like 50 of, as they are saying, in a healthy way. It's like insane how much they can actually carry, but it's gonna kill them eventually. It's slavery. It's not healthy. They're literally going to die eventually of many problems. It's actually insane how I've seen it. He was actually like, and actually carrying it. That much weight, actually doing it. What the flip? They are so strong. Because they were obeying the leader. But that's literally slavery. And you can see that he's not very obedient. He's probably so sad. Many of them probably die of sadness because they feel like they don't have freedom. He told me, I've heard him saying that sometimes he tries to catch him and he doesn't allow him to be catched, obviously. He wants to leave. And then many times you can see that he tries to make him obey him and he doesn't. And he have to do more strength to make him obey him. And then he finally obeys him. Then you can see that he's literally being enslaved. And then I actually told him, can he actually carry all this? I don't think he can. He looks like he's suffering. And then he looked at like he was impressed to what I said to him or something. And then he's like, no, it's fine. He can do all this. Then I was like, he doesn't look like it, but okay. And then I just came in and I started being nice to him. And then I was actually so sad for him. I was actually very, very sad for him. I was like, and then I brought some fruits for him. And then I gave him some fruits and then he ate it. And then we were actually friends, but that was like, well, friends, at least you're going to heaven. But this guy that is doing that to you, I was speaking to him in his mind. He might not go, man. You'll be going through all this, but you are fine. You'll be suffering all this, but you are fine. Trust me. But this guy, he's probably not. So you're suffering now, but it's better for you to die in a less painful way as possible and as short as possible, like the best as possible on everything. That's like, what am I even going to do? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to convince this guy, but humanity can barely understand this. Now imagine these poor people that needs this to survive. But he could do something else, or he could use less weight. He could do many things. He could. But he's also a poor person also that needs this job. It's literally his job. He carries the junk with his donkey. Then like, I hope this guy is not going to heaven, honestly. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because I know you are an animal and you are fine. Because you never did nothing wrong and you're still going through all this. Imagine that after all this, you're also not going to heaven. Pff, of course you are. But this guy, he probably isn't. I'm trying to speak to him, trying to show him my examples, how to love animals. But probably not even going to hear it. This donkey is probably dead now at this point again. They never survive for too long. But was not even like this donkey. He looks a little bit stronger though. But yeah, he's carrying like that is at least 200 kilograms or even more. It's insane how they can carry like way more than they can actually healthily carry, and it still is heavy. Anyways,
So we want to make sure you can ask questions. We want our listeners to, we want to make sure we're scratching where you itch with all that's happening. Some are asking about Christian nationalism because there's been a lot more discussion about Christianity during the inauguration, the prayer breakfast this week, and they're thinking, does this mean now there's soon going to be religious laws? And so I don't know if you've seen some questions that have come in.
Yeah, you know, they're putting it up on the screen one more time. And again, just scan that QR code that you see on your screen, and that'll get you in. And we're getting lots of questions. So thank you for those of you who are posting the questions. Now, we're probably not going to be able to read every single question, Pastor Doug, but I'm going to summarize some of them.
And they're going to take down that. We have a free offer. I thought I should mention that. People that want to understand prophecy, there is a classic that's been out for almost 150 years that has been an unfailing book, changed my life, and it's called The Fall and Rise of Jerusalem. The Fall and Rise of Jerusalem. So they're going to end up putting that offer up there on the screen. You can see that. It is a classic that traces the history of Revelation's prophecies from the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. You know, Jesus talking about his coming, he told them there won't be one stone left upon another, to the New Jerusalem and being in heaven. And so if you read that book, you are going to understand Bible prophecy and what's happening in the world today. All right, so got some questions.
All right, we do. All right, thank you again for all of the good questions. We're going to jump around and try and get different categories if we can. Pastor Doug, do you think that World War III will break out in the Middle East?
Well, of course, what I think is worth about a nickel, I don't know. I think that you could see the final events accelerate very quickly because there's been a resurgence of religious interest. I don't think that, President Trump is on the verge of signing a law that requires everyone to be a Christian. I haven't seen or heard that. And I should mention, in the interest of disclosure, that I am on the presidential committee of the National Religious Broadcasters. We often meet with congressmen and people in Washington to talk about religious liberty. And, while I see there's a resurgence in Christians not wanting to be ashamed of their religion, I don't see that there's any religious laws on the horizon, so to speak. President Trump did talk about, trying to fight against discrimination against Christians, something like there's been a lot of anti-Semitism, discrimination against Jews during the war, but that's not laws requiring anyone to worship any particular way. But with the tensions in the world today, the possibility, even the Pope said, possibility of a World War III is just like one gunshot away. It was the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand brought on World War I, Pearl Harbor, World War II. An event could trigger a war that would cause a chain reaction very quickly, and people get very religious when they're frightened. After 9/11, our churches were full. So things could happen very quickly now. The angels are holding back the winds of strife, I believe, so that we can get the gospel out.
Amen. All right, another question that we have. Is America one of the lost tribes of Israel?
Is America one of the lost tribes of Israel? No. Our Mormon friends, if you read the Book of Mormon, they put forth the theory that the American Indians
By the way, isn't that
were
interesting
some of the...
that we went through World War One, World War Two, and then it might be a World War Three now. Three again? What a flip! Why is that stuff everywhere? And it's the end of times, and it's three again.
10 tribes that
Just
came across the ocean
some
and resettled the
curiosities.
Americas, and DNA science has pretty well disproved that. The Native Americans were largely related to the people of Mongolia. So no, we are not one of the lost tribes.
Okay.
But there are people in America who are spiritual Jews if you've accepted Christ.
Okay. Another question. Is there a relationship between the United States, Gaza, and the Project 2025? You might have to explain what that is.
Yes. All right. Well, people saw a lot about Project 2025 prior to the election. And just so people understand how this works, the Democratic Party has a think tank, I think it's called the Council of American Progress, CAP. And what they do is they get a lot of scholars and doctors, and they help develop the platform for Democrats, should the Democrat win, so that the new president can kind of pick through the policies that they want to implement, the ones they think they can get implemented, and the ones they like. Every president gets to pick. The Heritage Foundation is a Republican think tank, and they put together their ideal dream list of things they would like to see a new Republican president do. And, presidents can choose to pick some, none, all. Very likely President Trump will pick some of the things that are in Project 2025, and they're not all bad. People get especially excited about, there was one section in there that talked about the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. And I've read the language in there forwards and backwards, up and down. The thing that's of interest is it does talk about Sunday, and so it is a public acknowledgement that Sunday is the typical day of worship in North America, the most popular day of worship. But it did make a provision in there that said, and for other people, if it's on another day, it's basically talking about fair pay and right to preserve your day of worship. I didn't see anything in that. I'm just being honest with people. I didn't see anything in that was mandating anyone had to go to church on any certain day. But it does raise eyebrows that Sunday was mentioned in connection with policy. So I can understand that.
All right. Another question that we have here. It says, where are we right now as far as prophecy goes? What should we be looking at? Is the Gaza-Israel issue maybe a distraction from who the real key players are in Bible prophecy?
Well, I'd stop short of saying that, it is entirely possible that the pivotal event, something's going to reach critical mass, and we don't know if it could be another natural disaster. We've seen an increase in the terrible floods in Spain, the fires in LA, fires in Northern California, and around the world. It seems like, we're seeing an increase in natural disasters, but there could be something. Can you imagine if you had the 2004 tsunami, the Japan earthquake, and it was happening in major cities simultaneously? So an international, a natural disaster that had international financial consequences. Most dictatorships have come on the heel of financial collapse. Happened with Napoleon, it happened with Kaiser Wilhelm, happened with Hitler. There could be a financial meltdown that is triggered by a natural disaster. There could be a world war that triggers a great resurgence of religion and compulsion. The Pope is primed. It's like if you go through a neighborhood and all of a sudden you notice someone has painted their house this pale white, and you go, that's not the final color. They primed the house for paint. I think we're seeing the primer go up now. I don't know exactly what color it's going to be, but I'm just seeing that something's afoot. Things are happening. Final events are moving rapidly.
All right, somebody is asking, could you say something about the 7-year tribulation? Is that biblical?
Well, yes and no. There is no scripture that talks about 7 years of tribulation. It's been extrapolated from the idea that, well, Noah was 7 days on the ark before the flood came, and maybe this would talk about, you could say that would be 7 years. The last week in Daniel chapter 9, that last 7 days, a day is a year in prophecy, the futurism takes that and tears it off of the whole prophecy, and they float it. There's no biblical reason to separate it from the rest of the prophecy. That doesn't make sense. But they float that down near the end of time and say that 7 years is going to happen later. But why did Gabriel give the promises one complete, contiguous?
By the way, I am infantry. It's funny because I see infantry on games all the time. Infantry! It's the guys holding a shield on the front line, the first ones to die. Or to protect also the others from the back and stuff like that. I'm literally this guys. I'm infantry, by the way. I'm just a small guy that barely has strength. My strength is not my specialty. I could barely hold the rifle very well. It's heavy for me. It was a light rifle actually, but I think it's because it was a kinda old one. The old ones I think are kinda heavy. I don't know. That's probably why maybe. Or is it truly that heavy? I remember I was slim by the way during these times. Yeah, I was very slim. Okay, but I was stronger than I am now, probably. Because I was in form. I was running a lot. I could run many kilometers. And I was in form, of course. I was part of the army and serving the army. We are doing exercises every day. And eating well every day as well. The healthy. Healthy. But yeah, I was probably stronger. I don't know. And I remember that it was heavy for me. Light rifle, which is supposed to be light, is actually heavy. I'm a small guy. Like, I would be just using if I had no choice, which I will. I'm safe actually. I forgot that I have health issues. And people with health issues can choose. They're not obliged to go. I forgot about this. I'm actually safe from war. But um I would not be using rifles. The pistols, just give me the pistols. It's good enough for me. And lots of ammo. I would not like to be a sniper either. Like I can be bombed anytime. I don't wanna be on the same place. And easily detected. Especially that snipers also has a heavy recoil and they are very loud sometimes, most of the time, depending on the sniper rifle, I guess. I don't know if I did shoot with sniper rifles that much or any of this. But they actually have a heavy recoil. At least rifles does, and they can also be used as snipers. The one that I used. Hello? Hello, brother? Hello, man. And then the ones that I shot, they actually do have a heavy recoil, and they also, I think they are kind of heavy. I don't know, but I know they have a heavy recoil. They are very loud. They are scary. And the precision will not be very good with this, especially in the middle of this pressure and all this. They can be bombed anytime. And it's better to just be using pistols. And yeah, it's crazy that they made me infantry because I'm a close quarter combat. Because I did martial arts during my life, so they made the questions, the interviews, and the training questions and stuff, and then they decide where you are going. And I am a close quarter combat. I'm a close combat. I am face to face combat. So yeah, I'm infantry. But I think most people is actually infantry anyways. I don't. I'm not even sure how that works anyways. But if I couldn't choose, if I was going to war anyways, I don't really mind, honestly. Not because I'm like, oh wow, crazy guy or brave guy or any of this. It's just that I don't mind. If I'm going to die or not, I also don't mind that much. If it's going to be my day to die, it will be. If it's not, it's not. But I'm pretty sure about this. I just ask the AI real quick once again. Look. Donkeys can carry only 50 kilograms max? Like, healthily, they can't even carry a person. And so many of them were carrying people, actually. Oh my. They are to this day. Anyways. And heavy people. Anyways, if a war happened in Brazil and I served the army for 1 year, I have to go, right? But I have health issues, mental health issues. That means I could be safe to not go, right? In Brazil, military service is compulsory for military aging, but that are important. What is compulsory? Length of service. The standard is 12 months. Yes, that's what I did. Dog extensions can happen in special cases. Yeah, they can keep going for more. Wish they wanted me to, by the way. Even though I wasn't the best soldier or any of this, I was actually, I don't know, I wasn't a bad soldier or any of this, but I clearly didn't want to keep being there, clearly. And they still encouraged me to keep going. They still encouraged me. Then I said, "Oh, I'm obviously not staying. Just bring me out on the first, like On the first one, on the first moment that they have people to go out, please bring me there, and they actually please place my name there, and they actually honored me after staying for so long, even though I didn't want to, and they did what I asked them to do. I was out in the first one. The second one was a month later, I think. I asked for the commander, which was my friend, by the way. I also gave him books, Adventist books, because of the Sabbath. It was a very long ago. It's a huge story. There's also a guy that I've seen on the TV that I think he had the same commander as me, by the way, which is kind of funny story. The commander came to him and said, "Oh no, no, don't worry. I had another guy, which was an Adventist. I know you guys well, and you are not going to work on Sabbath, while I am the commander of the region." And he was probably talking about me. When I heard this story about this guy that is way older than me, but he came to my city, to my state, I was laughing like, that is crazy. He's probably speaking about me. I think he's like the dates goes well with each other. I think he was speaking about Major Pontes, which is the same commander that was my commander. I actually made him know about the Sabbath because I wasn't working on the Sabbath. And then he understood that he already knew that we were not going to work on Sabbath no matter what happens. He already knew, and he also knew that it was part of the laws to respect religion, and he didn't want any trouble any of this. And he also knew from me that it was fine, it was all good, it wasn't necessary to be doing anything bad to a human that just wants to. And he's not even taking service all the time like how I was. I was taking service almost every single day. So they yes, they know, they yes, they know, they yes, they know. This is not even accepted by the law, by the way. They can't do that. But they had too little people, so they had to do this. And we went through this. I went through this. They yes, service, they know. And don't get me wrong, the service is just a plus one job of the normal job that you already have on the military. And I was working on many places. I was a guy doing everything everywhere. Everyone was calling me on everything. And my main part was actually with the weight part, with the heavy part, with the like mercenary, like painting the cartel, doing all of this sort of job of works of everything, literally everything everywhere. It was a heavy job, and I also had to serve as a guard, as a plus one job. And my salary was like 600 per month. Was 600, I remember. 600 per month. And I had two jobs, and both of them were heavy jobs. You were not even sleeping that well. But I mean, at least when you are in service, by the way, even when you are service, when you're supposed to be resting, sometimes some people that are on higher grades than you, they actually call you when it's your time to be resting. You can't be working. That's also against the law. That's a number two thing that they are doing against the law. They do it. The military do it. They have their own laws and they talk so much about laws and they disobey their very own laws. The military disobey their very own laws. Like soldiers can't take 24 service like they as they know for for a long time at least, but maybe it can never happen. I don't know. But I know there is some laws about this. It can't keep happening all the time. It was happening the entire year. It's number two. On the service, I have to be resting for 4 hours and then to be a guard for 2 hours. And then you just keep swapping. Rest 4 hours and then guard 2 hours. Rest 4 hours, guarding the cartel and protecting for 2 hours. You can't be doing the other normal job. You can't. They can't call you, and they still do it. And if you disobey, they would do something bad for you later. It's insane. Like, hell no, get me out of this place. I don't want to be with you guys. You guys are, I don't like you guys. Like, I don't want to be with you guys. Anyways, extensions can happen and then they actually, not only the commander, but the other guys actually called me, hey, don't want to keep serving. He actually keep serving. They said, hell no, get me out. Please place me just as I've been saying this entire year. On the first one, I'm out, please. And they, oh, okay. And then I was out. And it's funny that this guy later, the commander came in, and then he already knew the Adventists. I heard his story on the TV, on the Adventist TV, that he came to my state, and then the commander already knew Adventists or an Adventist that he have met before, which was probably me. If we were talking about this, because the dates goes well with each other, I think we talk about the same person. And then this commander came to him and said, "Oh, you had problems on your previous state. Don't worry. Here on this stage, while I am the commander, you're gonna be safe here. You can not work on the Sabbath." I had another Adventist like you. I heard him telling his story on the Adventist TV, and then I am like, bro, I'm this guy. I'm probably this guy. Probably the dates they just go well with each other. I literally saved this guy life, his lifetime job, his life job. I literally helped him. Through me, he was helped. That is insane. Why is it easier to not work on Sabbath in the military than it used to be than it used to be doing other things here in my life that nothing bad is happening to me? Why when I'm under pressure things are easier to obey God and to do what I have to than when things are all easy to me? It's supposed to be the opposite. But I am inverted. So, anyways, war scenario. If Brazil were to enter war, those who have already served could be called back. It depends on the government's mobilization laws and the individual's health status. Yeah, health exemptions. Both physical and mental health conditions are valid reasons for exemption for reassignment. Have documented health issues. Yeah, typically be declared inapto. Yeah, unfit for combat service. Yeah, of course. Sometimes, instead of combat, individuals are assigned to non-combat duties. Oh, that can also happen, actually. Administrative or support roles, which means I can get bombed anytime. Okay, so even if I am inapto, I can still be doing non-combat duties. So boring. I'm joking, it's better. Especially that I don't want to go into a war like this. That is a nonsense war. Or be killing people like this, which is a nonsense war. But Ukraine thing, for instance, even though I believe Ukraine president could do better to not go into war against a country that is way bigger and to be helping the people that are in Ukraine. Anyways, Russia still is invading Ukraine, and especially now at this point, Russia is just trying to dominate now. They not only was invading, but they also dominated some parts and that trying to dominate even more and being worse and worse. Like, this is the kind of war that it was needed my help to be actually killing these people, because that is too far. That's just too much. these people that are invading to protect our country, they have to die. But Brazil going to this nonsense war. I wouldn't, probably wouldn't. Anyways, can we even truly kill people? I'm sure about this. That is the Desmond Doss story that he didn't want to touch guns, to use guns. He just wanted to be a magic. But the thing is, I don't think there is a problem on killing people in this case specifically. Just like protecting yourself from bandits and stuff like that. What is the truth about this? What is right and what is wrong? Because many leaders are actually teaching that it's okay to have guns and to actually kill people. And no one is doing anything about it. So I'm actually a young guy that is confused about this. But I think it's fine. If that's the case, how about playing combat video games? Why is it not fine? Because it's way better than killing people in real life, even though they are actual evil people and you're actually protecting others and yourself. Like, I mean, you literally have doing this for fun. It's not the same thing. Yeah. So hard, you know. Anyways, if mental issues, health issues does not automatically guarantee exception, but it's a strong basis for being declared unfit for combat. It's actually not automatically guaranteed exemption, but it's something. Yeah, sure. I'll take a quick look on this. Because I actually think Bolsonaro is going to win, but he's probably not going to war. But the problem is now that Trump is getting to war and stuff like that, and Bolsonaro is going to be following Trump on everything. And he's literally going to be his dog. And even worse than that, he can also make our country a dictatorship eventually, but that's probably not gonna happen. But it still is dangerous, but he will probably win, which is annoying, and that means war, which means I will be in trouble at age 18 or 7, usually for 12 months. That's not true, AI. That's not true. You can decide if you want to serve it or not. I'm not trusting this AI anymore. Brazil, the Brazilian laws, you can choose if you want to serve or not. But once you say yes and you go through the training, you still have some time to say no and to go out, or someone can also make you go out. They can like literally expel you or something like. Is that a word? But um, it's that's not true. You can decide, and then once you say yes, if you say yes, yeah, you are pretty flipped up because now you have to serve for a year. Once you say yes, once you write on the paper, yes, I want to serve, boom, it's done, it's all for you. You can still go out after actually, but if it's take too long, like how it happened with me, you cannot go out. I was actually wanting, and even on the training, I also wanted, but I kinda told them, hey, never mind, I don't wanna be here anymore. But they actually liked me so much that they were like, no, you're gonna like it after. And then I told them, no, but I can also not work on Sabbath. And they're, no, 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 don't worry about this. No, I don't know what you're speaking about. They didn't take me serious until things started getting really, really serious. And it was too late now. So everyone in my entire state knows my name. Who is the guy's name? Everyone knows. I don't know if they knows anymore. But during my times that I was there, every single cartel in my state knew my name as the Adventist guy that wasn't working on Sabbath. Every single person knew me. Every single one. They were bringing me to one cartel to the other. Is any cartel going to accept this guy? And then they were like, okay, let's bring him to the cartel, to the hotel. So he's going to have a cool life there in George. It's a better life. Maybe he can even keep serving there. I also had the help of a friend of ours that is also dead now, by the way. That he's a captain. And then when I stepped on the cartel, on the hotel, I didn't even enter on the hotel. I didn't even enter. I was on the outside. I was on at the door, and then it came an official or something. They opened the door. And they were like, "No, you're not going in here. Everyone here has to work on Sabbath, so you're not going. You're not coming in this hotel." Boom, closed the door, and then they okay. The people that was with me, they were like, "Okay, you're pretty flipped up, my man," talking about me. They're literally closing all doors to me because I wasn't working on the Sabbath. And then I was going back to the car to the military van. I was just having. It was fun though. We were having some fun on the military van, like going everywhere. I was like, boom, that's kind of fun. I'm having fun on this military kind of this. Everyone with guns and all this, kind of cool. And then another cartel, no, you're not going in here. Boom. And then the other one that I was serving, I was supposed to serve, he was actually a Christian, the guy that was commanding this cartel specifically, not the entire state. He was a Christian. He thought I had a demon on me because I was keeping the Sabbath. He, as a Christian, and his other friend who is also Christian, they actually did a demon expelling on me or something. They were like praying and then touching my forehead and then praying and then like expel the demon from tea or something like this because I wasn't working on Sabbath. Also some other things by the way because that was not the only problem. And then when they were actually doing that, the guy where I was like, okay, what are they doing? Why did they calling me in this like room away from everyone instead of an open place to start with? We are in a closed place that no one is seeing us. That's kind of weird to start with, but okay. Second place, the guy that was holding me, his hand on my forehead, on my face, he was pushing me down. I was like, hey, why are you pushing me down? Please stop. Like, these guys are just crazy people, man. These Christians are crazy. Sorry, I'm just gonna say it. They're just crazy. They're not truly God followers. Sorry, but what they're doing is fake. I literally saw it. I literally witnessed it. He was pushing me down, forcing me. Instead of me truly falling to the ground or something, maybe that can happen if you truly is expelling a demon from someone, maybe that can happen. And then the person starts feeling like wanting to sleep and weak or something like this. He feels light, you could say so. maybe that can happen, yeah. But this guy was forcing me down. And I was like, I stepped back. I kind of pushed him a little bit, and I stepped back to not fall. I was going to fall to the ground because he was pushing me down forcibly. I just did a little step back, and then they said nothing. They just looked at me. They said nothing. That's so funny. And then yeah, you're out of this cartel. And then the commander of the entire state was trying to find a cartel that was going to accept me. And then he was like, yeah, no one wants to accept you anywhere, so you're going to be with us on the main cartel, which is where the general is as well. On the main cartel, which has the best food, but it's also one of the worst places to be working because there is a lot of work to do and also a lot of pressure. But at least it has the best food because it's literally the place that the richest is eating. And then we eat what is left from the rich that eats before us, and then we eat after. But they most of the time don't eat everything. Always so many greatest foods, like so many very expensive food and good stuff that we eat after. It's literally what is left from the rich, from the high officers, and then we eat the rest. And also plus some food that the guy that was cooking also make for us, which is also good by the way. They cook better than my mom. I actually miss their food. I was actually getting well fed. The only bad part is that sometimes they had very bad drinking, which tastes like meds. Sometimes they had this when they have nothing else left to give us. They just give us this, which I don't even know what that is very well anymore. But it's a drink that tastes like medicine. It's horrible. I just drink water when that was happening. But sometimes they were also obliging us to drink this. Military is just crazy stuff because you just have to obey what the ones on higher places are saying or stuff like this. It's just disgusting. Anyways, after serving, you may. By the way, my mental health is a big thing. Even though I can live well, it's actually a very critical mental health to be to be unfit. It's actually a big one. So I don't know. Why would they bring someone like me? They will never know anyways. But I don't mind. I would be behind this if I would mind. I'm not stupid. I'm saying all this because I don't mind so much. But yeah, it's Bolsonaro that we're talking about. But still, maybe I could have some fun with this. Who knows? Yeah, getting bombed is so fun. It's fine, man. Like, we are only speaking about a little stage in a little planet compared to the entire universe. I have the creatures of the entire universe at my side. What am I scared of? Nothing. That's the point. I'm talking about the creatures of the entire universe. It's not only angels, which is enough, only one, which is right here, by the way, at my side. He's right here with me, by the way. Which I don't think it's only one. I think we have two, right? Or three. Us Adventists when we baptize. I'm not sure about this information actually. I have to have learned this. I remember learning that we have three when we are baptized when we are a baby as an Adventist. We have plus one. But if you are baptized after, you have only two. And normal people have only one. I think I remember learning something like this, but I don't know if I'm right about this. But only one angel is more than enough, man. Like, but imagine having two or three. Like this guy is literally going to draw his katana out. He's not even going to move. He's just gonna be like this. His katana, and then the bomb is just gone. Like I don't have to be worried about anything at all. And I'm not joking, by the way. I can die. I can die believing this because I know it's real. I have seen it. Not this specifically, but I saw other things. I still do to this day. So I know. That's why I am not so like careful. I guess I don't know, but my mental health is a big one. So I think they would not call me. And that's if a critical war happens to the point of needing me, which I don't think it would happen. They would just use the militaries that are fit, perfectly fit for war and all this right now. That's what Bolsonaro would do, just bring his troops to help him and all this. It would not be an actual critical war like Ukraine, probably not, but it could be actually. And do you think Trump will do something for us? If in case we become the new Ukraine because we actually were helping on Trump's war and Israel war and all of this stuff, the Russia war? No, I don't think so. No one will help us. But there is also chances that Bolsonaro will actually not go into war. There is actually chances as well. Because he wants to be seen for the people as a better president. Because you have to understand one thing. Bolsonaro objective is to make a dictatorship in Brazil. That's literally his main objective. Literally. He wants a military dictatorship on Brazil. I'm repeating that. Why do you think he's bringing every single military and many of them are had corruption life or had a corrupted life after, but they still hide it and they are like, why? Why do you think all this? Of course, man. And they also attack the guys that actually protect democracy from a dictatorship. Are you serious? It's too obvious to not be true. It's too clear. It's as clear as snow, like as ice is snow. I don't know. Like I, people can't be real about this. And that's why I think he might not be going to war, but he's definitely going to be like showing off. I'm with Trump, guys. I'm with Israel, guys. I'm a Christian, guys. I love soccer in Brazil, guys. But he's just trying to get power and to be a new Russia eventually, or to be an actual dictatorship. That's his objective, literally. So we don't know if we can expect war or not. Yeah, by the way, it's 10 p.m. It's late. I have to go. Oops. Oh, okay. So where did you learn this? That was literally you saying, yeah, this AI, my Microsoft AI say so many wrong things so many times. I think I should use Think Deeper more often because they're telling me misinformation all the time. That's not true. You can choose. It's not like Russia or many other places that you are obliged to serve. Here in Brazil, you can decide. You have the freedom to choose if you want to serve or not. But they're always brainwashing you. All the militaries and all they actually made my mind. I was like, yeah, I wanna be that cool. Yeah. They actually made my mind. Then I said yes. Anyways, excess of contingent. Too many recruits. Some are excused. Yeah, I don't think even if it happened was even if a war happened, I don't think I'm going anyways. Unless someone like literally films me on this video, they sends them, they tells them like, "Hey, look, this guy is perfectly fit." I don't care if they do that anyways, just so they know. And also, I have many, as I say, the entire universe at my side, and only the angels is enough. He can literally blink right now, right behind you, put a little knife in your neck, and they be like, if you do this, I'm gonna kill you right here and now. You're gonna be lost forever. He can literally do that. He can actually do that. I'm not joking, I'm not lying. Just like Minato, he can actually do that. He can actually blink behind you and then put a knife in your neck. And then he's gonna make you feel it. So you're gonna be like scared as a dead animal. So sure. Educational professional exemptions, medical students, clergy, medical students. Wait, what? I don't know if I can trust it, but this specifically, maybe I can because it's coming from somewhere. I mean, I think it's the entire thing, but they understood something wrong. Wait, is it an obligation now? No, it's not. Let's ask them after the news. Let's see this. Já recognize several conditions to justify reform militar, permanent removal from active service. Psychiatric disorders, chronic illness. Yeah, both of those. Other serious conditions that prevent safe participation in military duties. Anyways. You would undergo evaluation by military medical board, yeah, of course. If declared incapacitated definitively. Oh yeah, I'm going through the. I don't mind whatever happened. You are not called for combat. Declared incapacitated definitively. Why are you going Portuguese? I did told you to do that. You're not recalled for combat. Sometimes individuals may be reassigned to non-combat duties, but exemption is common for serious psychiatric diagnosis. Mine is actually serious, even though I'm not even sure about. But I think I actually do have, but it's kind of weird. I think after I started having a better health, like being vegan, everything's just better. And I don't. It feels like sometimes I don't even have my mental health issue. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I truly had it. It was crazy times during other times. There was a lot of stuff going on at the same time. But the thing is, I still like the Mage anyways because it makes me happier, actually. Which is weird because it's actually supposed to make you more depressed. But if I don't take it, I feel depressed. If I take too much, I also feel depressed. So it's weird. It's just weird. So I'm just taking a little. Confirms that incapacity, including psychiatric illness, entitles the solely to reform and exemption from recall. So by the way, if people is staging, they don't. By the way, my little brother is so crazy. He probably will go. He might go. He's too crazy. Like, especially if it's Bolsonaro. He actually loves Bolsonaro. And if Bolsonaro tells him, he's going to do it. But maybe he might not pass on the exams. Even though I might pass, even though I don't want to, he might not pass, even though he wants to. It's crazy. I take two different kinds of medications. Why am I going to be taking them all the time? Whatever, what is the place that I'm working? They're not gonna be calling a person that has mental issues, right? There's no way. It's literally the worst. Like, why I could literally kill my own guys because I'm going insane, or do even worse than that. Yeah, definitely. No, no, no. I'm safe. Never mind. I'm literally safe. Even from the non-combat service, by the way. I'm literally safe. My case is too much. It's too critical for this specific thing. Like, there is no way. I can literally go insane in critical situations and make everyone die or even kill my own guys or do something even worse. By the way, I will need to have guns and all this. Like, I don't know. Well, you never know what might happen, anyways. Whatever, but I'm probably high probability of being safe. And Bolsonaro will probably not be able to go through all this STG and STF. But he can go on wars, I think. Wait, do they also have to approve it? I'm not sure about this. I don't think so. I think going like into allegiance and then going to war, the STF, the STJ, all of these powers have nothing to do with it. It's literally Bolsonaro and his team that can decide this, I think. That's actually kind of dangerous. But we have all four laws, they can't just. It's going to be the same stuff as before. He's going to be trying over and over again to be attacking off all defensive laws, or for defenses to be making everything he wants again, into lots of chaos. Because he's going to be trying a military dictatorship all the time for 4 years, while also being shown him as a good Christian politician. Entitles a sword to reform. An exemption from recall. Yeah, okay. And he can't do anything about this. He's not gonna be able to. Just people are so stupid. It's not only Brazilians, people in general. Why would they decide? Why would they change again? This is small amount of people, a small amount of numbers that are changing from one side to the other over and over again. Why would you guys do that? You guys think the life is gonna be better with Bolsonaro than Lula? You guys already tried this before. Things only got worse. And then now Lula, it didn't get any much better, but it's better with Lula than with Bolsonaro. Things are only getting worse, but with Lula is better than Bolsonaro. 1,000 times. Anyone, I don't care whoever is the president, honestly. I kinda do. I want a president that is related to nature, first of all. And Lula actually made relations with people that is related to nature, but and there are many others that will not care about uh, global warming so much and nature and all this. Like Lula, like some people on Lula team is. So that's why I think Lula is the best from all of them, anyways. But it's not like I'm a leftist. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not a right wing either. And I'm not a centrist either. Just have principles, brother. Picks his hat, places it down. Just like this fungal samurai from the game I was playing before. Just do a nod with my hat. I'm not right wing, I'm not leftist, and I'm not a centrist. It's all about principles. I don't care if it's gonna be more aligned to the left or to the right or to the center. I don't care. It's all about the principles. And then these people, they are like only care about themselves and the economy, and they are changing from one person to the other. That's humans for you. Like they're desperate. And then things didn't get that much better with Lula either. The world is getting worse and worse. Okay, maybe Bolsonaro is going to fix now. What are you talking about? You guys already tried him. Please at least go for someone else. Okay, never mind because it's gonna end up on Lula versus Bolsonaro anyways. Everyone knows that. Because this amount of people is a small amount. Even if they go for someone else, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's gonna end up on Bolsonaro versus Lula again. It literally doesn't matter. Because the people that believe is Bolsonaro will never change. Never change. Never. Not these ones that are left. The ones that had to change it cold change, like how I changed it. I was a Bolsonaro, by the way, on the beginning. I actually believed in him when I didn't know anything about politics. Just came a new guy in the middle of nowhere in my country. I was even doing anything on the internet. I was just chilling, doing nothing, trying to have my life forward, but failing or everything. And then it came this new guy called Bolsonaro, saying to be against everyone and everything, and then it's gonna make all country like the US, and all money is going to be a dollar now and not real anymore. It's going to be dollar. Then, and he is against corruption. Then I was like, oh, damn, let's go. I don't know anything about politics, but this might be the one. Finally, our money is going to be dollar now, guys, not real anymore. You're going to be paying everything normally. not 6 times its value anymore. That's cool. And he's also against corruption? Whoa. And then I voted for him, but I was still unsure because I was starting to learn things and to be studying, to be researching. And then after a while, I was on the second phase. I was like, "Oh my, yeah, this guy's not of this. It's all illusions." I was baited. It was all bait all this time, man. I was literally baited and brainwashed. Oh shit, this guy wants a dictatorship, man. It's true. It's clearly true. Like you can see all the evidences and everything. It truly happened. There is no way that you can say that it didn't. It did. Are you serious? We have more than enough evidences of everything. Even about Bolsonaro as well. We have more than enough. He's actually dangerous. Are you serious? And then I'm like, yeah, oh, I should not have voted for this guy. I'm voting for Haddad. And then, but between Lula and Haddad, I actually like Haddad more than Lula, by the way. Because I still think that Lula has some weird things that relates to him about corruption, even after he was proven innocent. He still has some weird relations to corruption and to leftism in a way that I don't like leftism. But I don't know, it's not that bad. But between Lula and Haddad, I would go for Haddad for sure. It's not the same thing. And then, but I wouldn't mind whoever they choose, honestly, if it's not Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is the only one that cannot be a president. Please, or anything related to him. They can't be majority, he can't be the president. They can't win. Like, it's bad for the entire country. We can't have a military dictatorship again. It's bad, obviously. Military is like telling us what to do on everything. Nope. Many communist countries, by the way, went through this and still are going through this. Any sort of military dictatorship, be it a communist, or be it a right wing, or be it whatever it is, or religious, it's always bad. Why are people so stupid? I'm not a pro communism as well, by the way. Why are people so stupid? I am aware about communism. I have seen it. I mean, all over the world, you can see it easily. It truly is bad, but it's not communism that is the real problem. It's the military dictatorship politics. It's not the communism by itself, but it's also, for some reason, it's always communism. So that makes me scared of communism, honestly, because why is it always communism? And also religious dictatorships. Why? Always communism or religious dictatorships, which you could call a far right dictatorship, I guess. It's both extremes or something. Like, anyways, I have to go to. Yeah, I take my medicine as well. But I think like I could not take my medicine, but it makes me feel very depressed for some unknown reason. I don't know if I truly need it, but I'm taking a low amount, high amount. So it makes me feel very depressed. It doesn't even make me crazy. It makes me feel depressed. But I only was without my medicine for a while, not for too long. So I don't know. Maybe I would get crazy. I actually get more crazy taking it a little bit. That's why I have to take a low amount. Not too much, not too little, and no nothing, and not too much either. Or I also feel depressed if I take a lot, but I don't know. I also need medicine to make me have more like to push me forward, which this medicine helps with this. That's why I say that it's kind of good. And sometimes I like taking more, and I'm still unaware if I should take more or not. Because when I take more, I think it's kind of making me heavy, but it's also I think making me more forward, but also more like it takes away my happiness or something. But I'm not sure. I think it's only bad if I take more. I think it's only something that is going on. But after a while, I realized that it's better to take it less. I don't know. And this is crazy because it's on my brain. Not even the doctors can help me so much. We are talking, not even then can understand it so much. Can you understand that? Can you? Is that crazy? Like, the doctors cannot understand my problems. 34 minutes. I hope it's gonna be saved for that. I didn't finish this. I should have finished it. I would know better. We are going to keep watching this later. Tomorrow, maybe. Why did this guy not answer me when I said hello to him? Why no one likes hearing me? Is it something about my voice or is it my mic that is too bad? Don't know. Anyways, everyone can leave now. It's the end of the stream. Bye.